Hey y'all, I'm Ada K, and I must confess, I'm a trial junkie. I enjoy viewing trials as if I was the seated juror. So grab a cup of java, get comfy, and join me as we hop into court. And don't forget to comment, like, and most importantly, subscribe. And if you're really enjoying the channel, please join our membership. Welcome, everybody. Happy day after Christmas. I hope y'all had a blessed Christmas. We did. It was quiet. It was peaceful. It was fabulous. Welcome, everybody. I'm Ada K. Thanks for joining me. We are going to start doing our year in review. And it's kind of strange because this is my first year doing YouTube. So all of this is new to me, but I'm so very excited to have you here. And we're going to start doing reviews on cases that we've covered, kind of go back and revisit them. So thank you so much for joining. I hope y'all had a fabulous Christmas, or whatever holiday you choose to celebrate, Hanukkah, whatever. And my family, it was real quiet. I had a little situation where my animal hurt me. Funny story I'll tell later. So I didn't do a whole lot yesterday. I did not. But we had a sweet Christmas Eve too, though. We did all of our gifts on Christmas Eve. And so everything went beautifully. I trust y'all are fine and well. This year has been a year. I was never, ever in the mindset that I would be doing this when I started 2024. When I started 2024, I had no idea I would be here. And it is a blessing to be here. I am excited to be here. It was, I guess I'll go ahead and share my story. I started doing YouTube to share what it's like to be a jail widow. I lost my husband to prison, and I started doing YouTube just to have a little place for women and or men, widowers, to go and be able to, get some information because there was nothing out there when I went through it. And just wanted to help people, give them some free advice, let them know what they're going to expect before, during, and after trial. And if they're found guilty, what are you going to have to do? All those kind of things. And it turned into this. So yay for me. You guys, I'm getting so many. How many of you are getting all these texts? Sale. Hi, Golden Girl. Welcome. Hello, Golden Girl. And so this was not a planned path for me this year. This year had a lot of surprises for me, good and a lot of bad. I am drinking some hot apple cider this morning. Happy Boxing Day. Pamela, welcome. Yes. I know I'm going to have to start putting everything up in the near future. That went down wrong. Oh my gosh, y'all. That didn't go as planned. I love hot apple cider. But that just went down and up. Actually, it's really well balanced. I'm okay. I'm okay. It just went up and down the wrong way. And I do have a few of my Buc-ee's. What do they call these? Nuggets? Got a few of those left. I'm okay. Thank you. So with this year, I did not start my year like everybody else does and start it with a trial in January. Can any of y'all guess what my first trial was? Because I started covering a trial in hopes of just learning how to use my equipment. And 327 videos later, and 2,430 subscribers later, here we are. Excuse my choking. So I'm very, very, very happy and blessed that this year has ended the way it has with my YouTube. Like I said, nothing I expected, but hey, here we are. So my first trial that I started covering, I believe, and I should go back and look just to double check. Let's do that. Let's go see what my first video actually was. My oldest. Here it is. Oh my gosh, this is going to be painful, y'all. This is going to be painful. My first live. And my backdrop, I'm going to get it back to the way it is in this picture. My sister, who passed away, designed my backdrop. And here is my my very first live. Oh my gosh, y'all. I know, baby girl, we're good. Mama's good. And here we go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 10 of the Hannah Gutierrez Reid trial. I am excited for today because we may be going to closing arguments. We'll see. We have been waiting on hold for quite some time in court. I will go ahead and pop this up. This has been an interesting hour and a half wait. They were supposed to start earlier. The jury was summoned at 8:30 this morning, and they've been waiting like the rest of us to go live, into trial. So here we are. So let me just check and make sure my feed is okay. Okay, my audio is not that great. I trust and hope that everybody had a good night's sleep. Zoom. My color ain't that good
created
either.
television shows, written and sold.
Wow, how things
movie
have changed.
Scripts.
Projectile by the actions of an.
The other part I want to talk about foreseeability and where this matters. I want to know what's happening because
when they're producers or directors and actors, weak argument on that one, sir.
It is her job to say to an A-list actor, if in fact that's what you want to call
weight, y'all.
Hey,
hi, KB.
You can't behave that way with those firearms. That is her job. That is what they pay her for. That is the job that she applied for. That is the job that she accepted. Foreseeability. You want to talk about off script? Just remember those videos of the stuntman. That's not within the script. She was there. She watched it. She knew these people would go off script. You know she didn't check the rounds. If she checked the rounds, they wouldn't have been floating around that movie set the entire time, undetected. give you everything we've got. You have absolutely everything we have. This law enforcement team and this
Oh, there's the lie, y'all. There's the lie. Hi, TK. You have everything we've got. No, you didn't have everything we had. And that is how and why this was. Oh, I don't even have her. Dude, I don't have the new. I wanted to go over the new. I don't even have her in my files anymore because I thought it was over. But as you guys all know, in the end, she was found guilty. However, in her case, but even more so Baldwin's case, they didn't have everything. And she ended up, Sensei, she ended up being found guilty. I think got 18 months. And Alec Baldwin got off because he
A unanimous agreement as to your verdict. The foreperson will sign.
Tina Hutchins. The
So this
defendant's
was
act
my
is a
very
significant cause of
first
death
live.
if it was an act which, in a natural and continuous chain of events, uninterrupted by an outside event, resulted in the death, and without which the death would not have occurred. She brought a bunch of live rounds on set, accidentally, but negligently. She loaded one of them into a prop gun, and this was after they were loaded into Jensen Ackles' gun belt and Alec Baldwin's holster. And she told Dave Halls, this is a cold gun. He told the crew it's a cold gun.
it was not no cold gun.
At
that's
that
for sure.
point, everyone certainly assumed that there wasn't a live round. She knew Baldwin would go off script. She didn't have prop duties to tend to. She walked out. And even if she had been there, it wouldn't have made a difference because you have seen the incredible lack of control that she exercised as the only person on the movie set in charge of firearms. There is no intervening event. If you think the intervening event is that Baldwin manipulated the gun, that's the whole purpose of the prop. He's going to.
So, my very first live, and I don't think I did too bad. I had more camera and lighting problems than I had anything. But that said, I don't think I did too bad. Yay. You know, not too shabby of a start. That said, it is a process and we're still growing and learning. So thank you guys for putting up with me all that time. But I did kind of want to talk about that case because I had major issues with this case. Even somebody I know several actors, and I know one big screen person. But as somebody who has done acting, I mean, the people I've talked to, they all have stated that when a lead shooter is used in a scene, it always has an armorer, and it is the armorer's responsibility to ensure that the lead shooter is empty. When blanks are needed, etc., etc. I have really struggled with the fact that Baldwin was charged with involuntary manslaughter because I don't think he should be charged with that. And here's several reasons why. Okay. I don't know why I'm hungry all of a sudden. You eat one, got to have more. So for me, the issue is more, number one, it was a perfect storm. The main camera crew walked off the set that day and took all of their equipment. Uh-oh, something just fell. Hold on. Quincy. Yeah. You just knocked something down. What did you knock down? Knock my monitor? Well, you got to see me and my grubbies today. Sorry about that. My dog accidentally knocked my monitor cord and I lost one of my monitors, so I had to go fix it. So anyway, Hannah Gutierrez's situation versus the Alec Baldwin situation is Alec Baldwin was handed a weapon and was told it was cold by somebody. And I feel that there was a lot of mistakes made on that set that wound up to what had happened. I don't think, number one, he would have never, ever done anything intentional. And so when the cameras are the cameras that they have, and that's something I wish they would have gone into more and shown images of, because they're big cameras, right? And the directors and everybody are offset from the camera, not mean off the set itself, but excuse me, I'm still kind of choking, to the side of. And sometimes they're sitting back in another area watching everything on these monitors. Excuse me. All of these monitors were taken. All of the equipment, with an exception of a few cameras that were owned by somebody else, not the camera company that walked off the set because it was unsafe, were taken. And these big cameras have monitors and things to the side of the lens. It's not behind the camera, it's to the side of the camera. So if my camera is here, I would be standing offset this way. Well, so when Baldwin was directed to pull and do a quick, slow pull, and bang, like that. That's what he was directed to do, and he did it. Now, his finger, whether a finger was on the trigger or not, that gun, the alleged shooter was told to be cold. It was meaning nothing was in chamber. A lot of times, these actors that I have talked to, they all have said that they have never opened up the weapon and looked at each lead to see if it was a dummy or a I have a hard time with the other word, whatever. They haven't done that. So do I think that that things should change? Yes. Do I think that they need to slow down? Yes. Hey Carmen, we're all good. I enjoyed your live. So I had to leave to come on mine, but I enjoyed it. So, I just felt that in reality of what movie making is, Baldwin shouldn't have been charged with that. Now, he is one of the producers, and that was something else. What was his level of activity in the production crew? His production limitations were strictly to creative. But can he be sued civilly? Yes. You know, I know a lot of people disagree with me, and that's fine. We can agree to disagree. But in the end, I did not believe that Baldwin should have been charged with involuntary manslaughter. Hannah, I can't believe only got 18 months. I was shocked on the opposite side. I believe she was 100% solely responsible. I believe that she took on a job that was bigger than she could handle. I don't think she had experience enough to be doing this all alone. I know who her stepfather was, and I understand that he is phenomenal, but her personally, I don't think she should have done it. She's a child. I don't think she should have been able to be the armor on any set. I believe that there were illegal substances being used. I believe that there was too much partying and not enough prep and paying attention to your job. Good afternoon, Toxic. Hey, Toxic, I can't find, and I was going to ask one of my mods, but you're here. I cannot find the document that everyone's been reading about Morrissey not dropping the charges against Alec the day before Christmas. I don't know why I can't find them on Discord. Do you have that? But the thing is that in reality, Hannah's took a job that she couldn't handle. That's my humble opinion, and that's where I'm going to leave it. I believe that you should, for a job like that maybe they should put in some they need a lot more regulations, a lot more certification, a lot more education is my humble opinion. And that's where I'm going to leave that as well. Anytime you're using a lead shooter, fake or real, otherwise, you need a real professional on set. I watched as she handled the weapons on set. I watched her behavior and the managing of them, and I know Baldwin was hurry because he was in the mood, he was in the moment, and time is money, and that is something a producer is always worried about. But she did not have the confidence as a woman and an expert to say, "Oh, wait a minute. We got to do it my way," because she's the only one on set that can stop a scene outside a director. She's also the only one who can say you're clear to go when it comes to supplying of the lead shooters. And the way she was handling a rifle, oh my gosh, carrying it with the exiting end right under her chin, it was just a hot mess. Yes, same here. Thank you, Toxic. Yes. So that case was my entry into this world, and learned a lot. For those of you who are just hopping on, I'll pull it up real quick again. For those, many of you did not see my very first live. It was scary, none to say the least. I look at it now going, oh my Lord. So I'll share this a little bit again. Now, my audio sucks and my video sucks, but this was my very first live. Very first live. And I hate this window. I wish I can get rid of it, but they won't let me. It always reverts to that, and this is what I prefer. Oh, well, here we go. Just a quick, so y'all can see. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 10 of the Hannah Gutierrez Read Trial. I am excited for today because we may be going to closing arguments. We'll see. We have been waiting on hold for quite some time. And by the way, my sister did decorate my set. I will put it back the way it is. I'm glad to see that because I am going to reword it back. Wait, they were supposed to start earlier. The jury was summoned at 8:30 this morning, and they've been waiting like the rest of us to go live, into trials.
Many of the television shows, and
I have lost some weight, y'all. Yay! Yay! So anyway, this was my very first video, and that was how long ago? How long ago? Let's see. Oldest was 9 months ago. 9 months. Oh my gosh. And we have done 327 videos in 9 months. Oh, thank you, Carmen. You're so awesome. We'll go ahead and watch this because we're talking about it. Shut this and bring it to stage and play. Why did it do that weird full screen? Thank you. Oh, all right. Well, that's not what it ain't working for me. Here we go. Okay, I'll just read this. Now they put all these commercials up that you can't read the whole page. Here, look, I'll show you what I mean. This irritates me to no end. Oh, hold on a second. I hate those little calls that go doink, doink. See, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. What? See? Look how this works. Hate it. Let's see. Let's see, love. Let me see, darling. Yeah, this is going to be better. Way better. Thank you so much. Santa Fe, New Mexico. If you haven't heard, Alec Baldwin got an early Christmas gift. Hello, 80s music man. Santa Fe, New Mexico. New Mexican prosecutor won't pursue an appeal of a court decision to dismiss an involuntary manslaughter charge against Alec Baldwin in the fatal shooting of cinematographer on the set of a Western movie. Santa Fe District Attorney Office announced on Monday. Now, I don't think Carrie Morrissey is a very happy person. This was not a happy Christmas for her. Special prosecutor Carrie Morrison withdrew the appeal of the July decision to trial dismiss the charge against Baldwin in the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins during the rehearsal on the set of movie Rust outside of Santa Fe, October of 21. Quote, today's decision to dismiss the appeal is a final vindication of what Alec Baldwin and his attorneys have said from the beginning. This was an unspeakable tragedy, but Alec Baldwin committed no crime, said the defense attorney Luke Nickus and Alex Spiro. The rule of law remains intact in New Mexico. Representatives for the state attorney general could not be reached. No kidding. The decision to drop the appeal solidified the decision by the judge Marlo Sommer halfway through the trial to dismiss the case on allegations that the police and prosecutors withheld evidence from the defense. Baldwin's trial was upended, by the revelation that the ammunition, kind of got blurry there, brought into the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office in March by a man who said it could be related to the Helena Hutchins killing. Prosecutors said that they deemed the ammo unrelated and unimportant. While Baldwin's lawyer said investigators buried the evidence in a separate case file, this whole thing right here really got me mad. Hi, Gabby. The thing is, you just heard in my first, or y'all weren't here earlier, in closing arguments in the Hannah Gutierrez Reed trial, you heard her say, we've given everything. We have dumped everything. We have shown everything. You have it all. And she did this. She was trying to do the same thing in Alec Baldwin, but in the end, they were shady as blank. Yes, they were. And so, yeah, Yeah. So it's one of those things that you just go, I was relieved. Now, just because I watched a movie yesterday, while I was in bed, and it's Juror Number 2 was the name of the movie. And I will toxic. Thank you. Go in there now. And the thing was, the jurors were arguing, ah, yes, it is. Thank you so much. And the thing is that they kept going off on, they didn't like the guy. They thought the guy was a gangster and all this other kind of stuff. It is. Thank you so much. I'll read it in a second. And one of the jurors, now, if you've not watched it, I think it's on Max. It's called Juror Number 2. It's a story about a guy who had a wife who was pregnant. They'd lost a set of twins. Yes. You can come on and recap with me. We can talk about anything, but I'll send you the link, Carmen. So, but what I'm trying to say here is that you can hate the individual. You don't have to like Alec Baldwin. You may think he's the biggest pompous jerk you've ever seen in your life, and you could be just happy, fine, hunky-dory, never seeing him again in a movie. But that does not mean he is a guilty of what they charged him with. Just because you don't like his character, just because he could be hot-headed, does not sound, I mean, sorry, I saw sounds good. That does not mean that he is guilty of this crime. And that is something that I have struggled with throughout this entire trial, was when it came to the Alec Baldwin trial, was number one, just because you hate the dude does not mean he did it. So that's where I'm at. Why is this not? Let me see what's going on here let me edit this, because I don't like how this is showing. That's better. How do people get this stuff bigger? I can't get this bigger on my screen. It's the best I can get it right now, guys. I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on it. My thing about Alec Baldwin is, if you or I were to do something like that, we would be in prison. You never ever point at a person. Okay, Celestial Force, you are 100% right. But I'll do that in a sec. But here's the problem I have. I don't disagree with what you're saying on that. But what I am saying is, one of the things that people, I'm trying to do two things at once. Let me get this in a square, get this down here. This is the other layout I can do, but see what happens when I start to read. It does this. So, okay, let me get back to Celestial Force. When in acting, something that was said that I don't think people really paid a whole lot of attention to in this trial. Hi, Zach. And that is this. The cameras and all the high-end, good quality equipment that could be manned and run without somebody standing directly behind it were removed that morning when the camera company left. Okay, remember, they walked out. So they only had, I think, 2 cameras on set, and they were more the old school where you had to be behind them to run them. And at this point, you have the Helena Hutchins, and then you have the other director that got shot. We're both kind of standing behind the camera. So here's the mic, Pretend the mic is the camera, and they were both standing behind that camera. And they told him to do a slow draw and then a slow draw and then a bang. That's what he was instructed to do, and that's what he did. Now, I'm not blaming Helena Hutchins and the other person for actually, being harmed because of something that they did or didn't do. But what I am saying is that this was a perfect storm. And had they not been standing directly behind the camera, this, or what I mean directly is like right here and right here, I don't think this would have happened. And that is something a director themselves should always be prepared and know and be paying attention. They have some responsibility in what they're asking that actor to do. And if he followed instructions, which there were multiple witnesses that said he was told to do a slow draw in and a quick bang, and they were standing in it doesn't matter if he was pulling it this way or aiming it this way, they put their own bodies in the path of where the muzzle was going to point. That was the word I'm looking for earlier. And because of that, when the lead left the lead shooter, that happened. And it's horrible. I'm not blaming them, but I'm saying sometimes we ask people to do things and we don't pay attention to where and what we're doing, and it puts us in harm's way. Never should anyone have lost their life over this. It was a horrific accident, but in the end, he was told the lead shooter was cold. Cold means nothing in it. Nothing. And when you're told it's that way, and that's my humble opinion. Hello, Spawn of AJ. Welcome
What's
to my
up?
show once again. I'm glad to have you. How you doing, love?
I am so happy just to put a sweatshirt on. I still have
You
my
feel
work
like you're
pants
getting the
on.
fabric hug?
I do. Like, I still have my work boots on and my work pants on, but I'm just happy to just put a sweatshirt on. Like,
Take you off a camera and get those boots off.
I'll be all right.
But I know a lot of people don't. Hi, Rachel. He went rogue. I know that some people said that. I think some people said he did and some said he didn't. I don't know. What's your thoughts on this?
So, I mean, how we're trained is you never point a pew pew at anybody. And we have to go through, even when we're just training, we have to go through so many different steps. Even though we know that's a blank, we have 5 different steps that we have to go and clear that is a blank, 100% that is a blank before we can ever do anything. And so I just feel, I don't remember her name, but the
Helena
armorer,
Hutchins
yeah, her. She
is
had
the
no
victim.
idea
Hannah
what she-
Gutierrez is the armorer.
that one, Hannah, had no idea what she was doing. And I mean, I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen a real one from a blank.
I have.
Sometimes depending on what they're very hard to tell apart. But other times, like how we have ours, they are exactly right. But ours, because of incidents like this happening, you can distinctly tell them apart. But I don't think that was the case with this one. I think they were
Hers
pretty
did
similar
rattle.
looking.
They had. Why I'm having a brain cramp. I don't know. You have blanks, and then the other one is the one that
So
puts the smoke.
oh my gosh, what is that called?
Yeah, that dummy, blank and dummy.
Yeah, dummy round. And so like we have, because we actually just had to go through this. So like you have blanks, you have your dummy rounds, and then your different firing things that you could have that have nothing to do with this. And sorry, just thinking about that because we just had to go through that.
Yeah, but the thing is here's the thing. There were two kinds. They had one that had a hole drilled into the side, and then they had one that you could shake. Those were the two. Those were the two. And then the dummy round, the dummy round looks like a real weapon, a lead. It could be plastic, it could be metal. Most of the time they're metal, but there are ways to determine what is and isn't, and a lot of times they don't have certain. I'm trying to use my words and not get in trouble. But in the end, she did not shake or physically look to verify that it had a hole in it or it didn't rattle, and that is all her fault. People said, "Well, Alex should have looked and done," and I said, "Guys, there are people who've been actors that I talk to, and I've mentioned this time and time again." And one of them told me that when they're on set, they don't have the lead shooter until they're ready to film. And so they come up and they put it in their holster and they're told it is hot.
That's been the part that's
And
always
they're
bothered
not
me.
to touch the weapon and mess with, people are saying, well, he should have taken out all those pieces of lead and checked them and rattled himself and put them in. Well, even if she's sitting there rattling them, if he's standing 1.5 feet, 2 feet away, she's doing it up here, he's not going to hear it.
That, and as like if somebody was an actor, they're in the zone. They're getting into they're going. And the thing that has always bothered me was why there was ever why there was a mix ever of live rounds and on that set at all. And that goes, for my personal opinion, that goes beyond her. She should have double checked, but I don't think that she knew what she was doing, what she was really looking for.
No, and some of those came from her father and some came from another person, so they don't know where. And they're talking about the set of was it 1883 or whatever, and some of those, and someone said, well, why would they take them out and do a live round shooting? Because some of these actors have never handled a gun, a lead shooter.
Right.
And they don't know how to hold. They don't know how to even pull. And okay, do you know I've had some training by that?
Yeah.
Was I good?
You were good, because we were just talking about that, because we were talking about a delayed work, because we just had an incident. They're fine, but like they had to get some stitches. They're fine.
Was it a grazing?
And it'll sound like a zoop, but it's faint, and it's a delayed. It doesn't catch as it should, so therefore it'll catch, but it not as it should. So you're like, oh, no, it didn't go, and then all of a sudden it's like bang, and
That's why I always, and someone made fun of me, but when I go to a shooting range, I have a vest
I don't blame
on.
you. I don't blame you. We've had
But anyway,
people.
back to it. So you're supposed to come up and do this. Well, a lot of people don't know. They just do this, and it depends on. I have a bad shoulder, so my stance is a little different.
Yeah,
And in order I push in slightly to stay, because I have my shoulder's been reconstructed twice and replaced. So anyway, but keeping the muzzle down and then coming out, if I'm wrong, correct me. But back in those 1800s in the Westerns, it was bam. So, but they come in and they put that down into their holster, and then they're taken to a range to teach them how do you pull and how do you do and how they did. I'm going to let you take this. I got to answer this.
No, you're fine. So it's actually really interesting to me how this case kind of played out, because apparently my job thinks that we're still in the Wild West. So we don't use Glock pew pews or anything like that. We use those good old fashioned old Western 6 pew pews, and we're taught like always point, downrange, and never point at anybody else. If you can see sky, you can pew pew sky. And so if you can see a person, you can pew pew a person. And we go through several different steps to make sure that that is a blank. And so it was just, I know like when my mom had covered this, like I kind of argued with her a little bit because I was like, I don't understand why this even happened. Why was this a thing? But I'm used to going through the steps of, being very repetitive on this is what you do, this is what you don't do. We're going to check this and double check this and triple check this and quadruple check this before we ever even pull the trigger. Can we say trigger on here?
I guess so.
I don't.
It's only
remember if
5
you
cents,
can.
so whatever.
I don't
But this is
remember
the
if you
case. This
can.
is what I hate about YouTube is if we're discussing this, that's a part of a trial. I don't think we should
Yeah.
get dinged for it.
No,
But anyway,
I get it. I can't
But-
remember if you can say that one.
I don't know. But one of the things that, I get is that, yes, I would rather take actors out to a range and teach them how to, and get them used to how a weapon feels when it is pulled, and the kickbacks and the weight and this is appropriate, always down to the ground, never up, never this, never this. Swiping. Is that what it's called? Swiping or flagging?
So,
What is it?
both.
What's the
Both.
yeah.
You can
Every
do
time I
it.
go
You
to
can
the range,
swiping,
people are flagging.
Yep.
I'm all like,
So
I keep
yeah,
mine
we
down.
do.
It's never, hey.
So we're actually doing this is like, it's like one of the scariest things that we're about to do at the beginning of the year, and I'm so scared. I will be helping one of our pew pew instructors of people that have never, ever, ever held a pew pew ever, and I'm
They
gonna
scared
give
that.
them a six pew pew, and that doesn't have any safety on it or anything, and then also a shot pew pew.
Are you
And
teaching and are you going to start instructing?
so that's the goal. I'm training to start instructing on this. So
I need to
have
come out and spend the weekend with you and go to the range.
I have a lot of training that's coming up. I'm going to throw them off on Saturday at our facility. I'm going to dress up as a detainee, and we are going to do some unaliving prevention, but they do not know. So my sergeant, my lieutenant, all of them know that we're going to do this, but we're going to see what they do and how long it takes them to get to me and all that other
I
stuff.
want to come. Can I come watch?
I wish. Like, I've actually asked because I just taught a de-escalation training class, and now we're about to do an unaliving prevention class that I got to teach. And I've always said the best way to teach them is to throw them off and put them in that circumstance of what do you do, and just
Well, see,
I'm just
as
gonna throw 'em
an
in.
emergency services chaplain, I do go into very heated situations, and I really would like some more training.
I would have to ask my chief because I know that we allow people in as long as we know that they're coming. But with us having ICE there, I don't know how that
Well,
works.
I'm
I
talking
know
you and I
do
can
it-
just sometimes you and I can go out and have fun.
Oh, I can do that anytime.
Yeah, but I would love to come in and watch. But anyway, let's get back on Hannah.
Yes.
But the thing about the one thing that gets me, and I think everybody is, well, quick story. There was an old lady. She was like a spiritual grandma to me, and she was like 4'11", little eccentric, and her husband died, and she lived out in the country, so she started carrying this semi lead shooter.
Oh my gosh!
Um,
Please tell me it's not the story that I just said on YouTube. Nanny
No,
Doss.
no,
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
and she went to go to the range, and she didn't. Well, she told me she had taken a class, so I was like, okay. And I took her to the range, and she pulls it out of the back of the car, and it's full of water.
Ooh.
It was raining that day, and the case she left sitting on top of the car. And when she got done, she put it in the wet case.
You couldn't pay
I'm
me
like,
enough
we
to even
can't.
touch it.
Yep, we can't. So we went out another time after she paid someone to clean it and everything. And she's walking around, and do you know what's hard? Is I have 2 lead shooters sitting right here, and I just want to grab one and say, this is I do. I have 2 sitting.
So I
Okay, we'll
It's
use
just
this.
that
We'll use this. So
yeah, there
she's
you go.
holding it, and and she's all like, so what do I do with this?
Oh
I mean,
my.
and I went, okay, honey, let me. Is it loaded? Because I don't know.
We have literally tackled
I go,
people because of that.
I'm like, so anyway,
No.
her problem is she didn't have enough strength to pull this way.
Cock it back. Yep.
I struggle with that a little bit because of my shoulder surgery, depending on the lead shooter.
So there's
So
actually
I
a new
hold it
thing.
with the lead shooter here, the
Mhm.
base of it here, and I'm holding it here, and I rack it that way.
Careful doing that so you don't pinch yourself
Oh,
right there.
yeah, never pinched because I'm holding it properly. But I push down. Now some of them I can pull back, but others I can't. My GLOs, it's new.
Yeah.
I haven't.
No, I
Yeah.
get it.
So anyway, I was just seeing if she can just hold it and push down. And then she did this and had it, and she goes, okay, right at me. I'm like, whoa. I said, hold up. By this time, there's always somebody there watching people. He walked over and he took it out of her hand. And he goes, ma'am, you're great. I like you. She's banned from here. And I went, what? He goes, oh, she's been banned from the range. She's been out here 4 times with instructors, and she every time has pointed a lead shooter at the instructor. She's banned. And I went, so I said, we're
Yeah.
leaving. And he goes, ma'am, you can stay and shoot. In fact, I'm happy to let you shoot. And I said, no, it's okay. We're out.
Yeah.
And so when we got back to her home, I hid her pew pew, and then I called her family.
I don't blame you. Because like she's lucky
Merry
she didn't meet
Christmas.
my instructor, because my instructor, he's a 20+ year special ops. And he's he retired I think 5 years ago or something like that. He was a sniper for a long time. And then he kind of, I don't want to say downgraded, but as he got older, he kind of went down a
Yeah,
little bit.
things
and tried
change, and you
getting
have
more.
to modify. Be
But
modified.
yeah, wouldn't mess with him though. Like I talk a lot of crap to him, but
Hey,
I can also
just
run a
because your
little
sight
faster.
may not be as good, but your knowledge is always there, unless you get
Exactly.
Alzheimer's. But the whole gist of all this is, if Hannah had been trained properly,
Mhm.
she overqualified herself, she over embellished her abilities, and in the end, she is the responsible party. 18 months is not enough time for what happened to me.
I don't
And
know. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years, and you couldn't even pay me enough to go up on the site and do that. And it's like I've dealt with lead a lot. And even with my 10 years experience, no. Like I
I
know
don't
what
want
I'm
that
doing.
responsibility.
Exactly. I don't want that responsibility. And like the only person that I can think of that I personally know that would be okay doing that is my trainer. And that's just because he's got 20 plus, or I think he's 25 years of military. That's what he did. And that's what he trains on now. Like he knows what he's talking about. But, and it's not that I don't, it's just I don't want that type of responsibility. And I don't even know if he would do it because what we deal with is such a controlled environment, which is why I don't understand why that wasn't. Why that wasn't as controlled of an environment as it should have been.
I think it was considered a grade B movie, number one.
Yeah.
The finances to hire the more experienced people went in there. And being who her stepfather was and the amount of time she supposedly spent under his training. The other thing that got me was that the props person was put as an assistant armorer. And I'm like, huh? I know
That just
lead
does
shooters.
not
I
make
know the lead shooters are under props because a prop is what? Anything an actor touches is a prop.
Mhm. Yep,
Anything they wear is costuming.
is a prop. Yep.
So I'm
Everything that they
touching
have
this.
is a prop.
This is a prop. And so, but I couldn't believe it when they said this. The prop person who was assistant to Helena as a armorer, and then Elena was an assistant to the prop master. That inverting doesn't work. But
No,
the prop master said on another low grade film, they needed an armorer, and so they asked her to be an armorer with zero experience.
and that's why people get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So moving along from this, let's read this quickly. I know everybody's already read this. I know everybody's already gone over this. I know I'm behind the ball. It's okay. I'm behind the ball.
Hey, I'm right
Um,
there with you. Like I literally hopped on YouTube earlier, and then after I got off, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have messages on Discord."
Why is this
Sorry.
not? I had it embiggened and now it's not embiggening. What is going on here?
Did you say embiggened?
Yep.
Is that a word? I like it. I'm gonna use that at work. It's embiggened.
It's
I like
embiggened.
it. I like it. I'm gonna use it.
But see, hi, Debbie. Oh my God. Thanks for becoming a member. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Embiggened.
Embiggened.
I want to refresh page. Here we go. Now I got it. Okay. So in the matter before the court of the state, see, when I move it though, it does this. Let me do this and do
I've
this.
read that wrong for a
Ah.
second. I lost the new in Mexico. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
New
Before the
Mexico.
court. So on September 5th, 2024, the state filed an amended motion to reconsider dismissal with the prejudice amended motion thereafter on September 20th, 24. Mr. Baldwin filed Baldwin's response to the state amended motion for reconsideration or repose. Oh, hello, it's Britt. Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's been that long. In turn, on October 6th of 24, the state filed a reply to the defendant's response to the amended motion to reconsider the dismissal with prejudice. Meaning, Your Honor, we don't agree. Let's think about this. The analysis. The state amended motion advances arguments previously made and no arguments that the state could have raised at an earlier stage in the proceeding. The district court does not abuse its discretion in denying a motion of reconsideration was merely a restatement of arguments a party had already advanced. So further, the extent of the plaintiff's motions for reconsideration raised a new matter that could have been raised during earlier briefings, but were not. Such failure would have provided a basis to affirm the district court's denial of the motion. Boy, this is fuzzy. Oh. Let's see. The state amended motion both restates primarily factual arguments previously advanced by the state. This is a bunch of legal just get to the point. Raises,
Yeah,
right?
who said-
Just get to the point. Raises new legal argument that could have been raised during earlier briefing on July 12th of 24 hearing. Notably, after Mr. Baldwin's counsel alerted to the courts that their intention to file a motion to dismiss concerning the state's withholding of information concerning the ammunition supplied by Mr. Troy Teske, Special Prosecutor Morrissey stated, I gotta do it, y'all.
Gotta do it. I don't think I'm going to have much of a response. I can probably just do it orally because I now figure out what we're dealing with.
In the addition of the conclusion of the evidentiary hearing concerning Mr. Baldwin's expedited motion for dismissal and sanctions under the Brady. How do you say that?
I don't even know. where you're at.
Giglo?
I think it's
And
Geico.
rule number 5-501. The court offered 15 minutes for the parties to make arguments. However, the state elected not to make any argument following the introduction of evidence during the hearing and chose not to ask the court to recess the hearing to allow additional time for the state to conduct research and prepare arguments. So let's just go down here. Her motion was the state's amended motion is untimely. That's yeah. Do you know what, guys? I'm having a problem reading this because look how fuzzy it is.
Oh, I was gonna say it's fuzzy for me too. I just
Fuzzy. Can't do it. But I do want
So-
to talk about, let me get this stuff back where it needs to be so I can look at you straight and not be looking all over the place. One of the things about what?
You love my Sarah Boone voice? It was a good day. We had a good day.
So all in all with this, do I agree Hannah should have gotten jail? Yes. Should she have gotten a whole lot more? Hell yeah. But unfortunately, that's the laws in New Mexico, and she got off lucky with a slap on the wrist. She also had another, I got to ask you this. How in the heck do you justify bringing a lead shooter in a facility that services more than 51% of its money off of alcohol? Like a bar. She took a lead shooter in a bar.
I can't answer that question.
What, you've done it?
No, I'm not legally allowed to answer that question.
My point is,
I wish I could.
no, I'm not asking you to give legal advice. That was kind of rhetorical.
I
Those
know,
of us
but
who carry
I wish
lead
I
shooters
could.
know better than to carry a lead shooter into a bar or a restaurant or anywhere where 51% of their
Yep.
revenue comes from the sale of alcohol. How in the hell would you? Why?
So I was gonna ask you basically like how you felt about the case and like what Alec got and how did you watch the part where the prosecutor basically tied herself up?
Yes.
That's why I was like, what are you doing? Like you're like prosecuting yourself right now.
I'm like, I'll gladly get up there. Come on, honey.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a girlfriend. God love her. But when she gets finished, she goes, honey. And I was all like, oh my God, I saw my friend in her so much. But why? Do you know what? It was more about boosting her and her career than it
Yes.
was about the case.
Yes. And that's where, I mean, if I'm going to give any legal advice, I'm going to say right now, I am not a lawyer. So don't take this to heart. But if you ever
We
get
are
up on stand,
discussing and theorizing. None of us are giving legal advice.
not exactly. But if you're ever going to get up on stand, just answer the question and shut up. And don't try to boost your ego. Don't try to do anything. Just answer the question or wait for a, objection and shut up. Like that's. all
I'm
you
like,
gotta do.
wait a minute. Hold on.
No, you're fine.
I'm like,
this is so comfy.
I know, right? Here we go. There we go.
Exactly.
Did I
This is
spell it
not
right?
legal. Yes, this is not legal advice.
So for me, I'm watching her and I'm like, oh, I took me off stage. Oops.
Yeah,
There we go.
I was lonely there for a moment.
Did you get lonely, my dear?
I did.
So she got on that stage. I call it stage because to her, that's what that was. She got in the
Yes, it
witness
was.
box and she asked herself the question. She just narratively testified. And then when she got her knickers caught in the gear, as my grandmother said, did you get your knickers caught in the gear? It was very bad. So anyway, if you want to see someone squirm,
Mhm.
should we watch it?
Absolutely. My grandma used to say, "Feed me garlic and call me stinky." And this is what this woman did. She fed herself garlic.
I got to find it because I'm going through, I put it all the way in the back. So I got to find it. Okay. Is this?
But I've never seen a
Oh my God.
prosecutor
This is
ask-
when we had Miss Diane. Oh
Yeah,
my
this is-
gosh. This is what okay. This was my episode.
This is some like the OG stuff.
Yeah, I had the kitten by then. Just this past weekend, she was knocking on death's door, and I kid you not, I was very worried about her. I wasn't
I
sure.
like your hair.
Huh?
I like your hair.
What?
It's all braided.
Really? She was scaring
Yeah.
me. Done that before?
501 requires Teskey's property, even though he told her this could be from the live
Hey,
ammunition
Karate
batch
Mom,
that matches the bullet that killed Helena Hutchins. 2 years later,
look at me.
November 2nd, 2023, there's a PTI of Teskey. Miss Morrissey's asking questions, and she starts probing further into the live ammunition that Teskey had previously said was given to him by Thel Reed. And she says, "Do you still have some of that ammunition?" He says, "Well, some of it, but I've been out shooting it over the last 2 years because Detective Hancock did not preserve it over that time period."
Whoa, I missed that.
Why would you not preserve it? Oh my gosh.
What?
That's the bruh.
Miss Morrissey probes further. "Where'd it come from? Tell me your story." He says, "Well, Fell dropped it off. He then picked some up, and he went with Seth Kenny to the 1883 Yellowstone movie, where he was teaching people how to shoot with that live ammunition. He then went to another movie with Seth Kenny. teaching people how to shoot with that live ammunition. And Seth Kenney then took a green ammo can with that live ammunition in it.
Okay. Why is it called Boxing Day? I'm not trying to be mean, but why is it called Boxing Day? Honestly, I've never heard that. Do y'all
Like, as
know
in
why
today?
everyone keeps saying Happy Boxing Day? Is that because everyone's
Is
taking
it
their
like
stuff
today?
down? I guess so. Multiple people have said
And
it.
brought it
I,
home with it.
mm,
He says that could be the live ammunition from that green ammo can that killed Helena Hutchins. Miss Morrissey says, I want you to preserve that.
Oh,
And do you think
okay.
there's any
oh,
evidence that this was sabotage?
British thing.
And he says,
Oh,
well,
Okay, that's
actually,
cool. I
Seth
like
Kenney called me while Rust was shooting, telling me he wanted to get Hannah Gutierrez Reed fired, but he didn't know how to do it because he was concerned about upsetting Fel Reed, significant armor in the business, as your honor knows.
What?
Yeah.
And so he says, I don't have evidence that there was sabotage, but that's what I know, and I still have this ammunition.
No kidding.
As we know, Sarah Zachary, the one who threw the live bullets away, we don't know, live or not, threw bullets away after the incident on Rust, admitted that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Shall
Why
we?
would you do that?
Because they were the ones that were live, that were not supposed to be used. And the only way to get rid of them is to throw them out.
Did they not think that stuff's not? I don't understand people.
That was the
That's my
prop
New Year's
lady.
resolution.
That was the
I
prop
know.
lady. The one
I
that used to
don't-
be an armor on another set.
But that's,
I mean,
and that's
more-
concerning. Like, if you used to be a prop on another set, that's concerning. But, you know, like I said, 2025, my New Year's resolution, I'm just going to stop trying to understand people because I don't. I
And how
don't-
you
I
doing
don't
with
get it.
that already?
Not too well.
Oh. By the way, if you want to ever make a holiday coffee and you don't have anything that's kind of holiday coffee-ish, and you have a little bit of apple cider, mix it with your coffee. So,
So
you like
I need to ask you about that. I need to ask you about your coffee. I need
what
to
about my coffee?
I need to get some. Cheyenne has my partner, the spawn handler, which she calls herself on here. I'm trying to get her away from Starbucks because that's expensive. And she really likes organic things. Like we
Okay,
eat everything
do the
organic.
Keurig? Does she the Keurig or loose?
Loose. We have our individual. Our coffee maker has the actual beans, and then we grind them up.
You can buy these. I put the link right there. It's already up on the screen. You can get this in whole bean. And it also comes with the suggestions on the backs, how long to brew.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna buy some.
Breakfast
If I
blend is good, but
lose
she's got a lot
internet-
of different blends.
What's the blend that you would recommend? Like, what's your favorite?
Does she like medium or bold? I would say bolder if
Um,
she does. What does she do at Starbucks?
I would say bold, just because if I don't, she's got an attitude.
Not her personality, her coffee flavor.
That's what I'm saying. I would say bold.
I know I
'cause
was
if I
being
don't-
facetious.
No, I know you are. I would say bold. Yeah,
Any
I'd
of
say
them, actually. Any of them. I like the Tex-Mex dark roast. We have a Costa Rican. We have a
Ooh, we're going
we
Costa
have
Rica.
a European. I love the Costa Rican. I like
Ooh,
Barn
Costa Rica.
Dance. So anyway, any of the darks are good.
We're definitely going
And
to
they
do
have
Costa Rican.
descriptions. So anyway, back to case. We'll play a little bit more of
Right.
this, but the fact that that this woman was able to throw, oh, actually, this feels good in the back for once.
Yeah, that she's able to throw rounds just nilly-willy in the wind. Like,
willy-nilly. Oh, the South American coffee is the best. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. But here's the thing. This coffee is freshly roasted if you get the whole bean, freshly ground if you get the ground, and it doesn't sit on a shelf for 8 to 10 months before they even get it packaged. Most coffee that you buy over the counter, even at Starbucks, not sponsored by the way, is 2 years old before you even consume it.
that's what we've been dealing with. Is it's been like it's been crap lately.
Oh,
It's
that was
tasted
hot.
very. Are you all right?
Well, I forget because see, this cup is a double glass, so it's not too hot
yeah.
to hold. And the only thing about that is you forget how hot it really is.
So I don't drink coffee. It's very rare that I drink coffee, I should say. But Cheyenne, if you do not give her coffee, God help you. And so, but lately we've been dealing with it tasting very bad. And she gets the coffee beans from Starbucks, and it has not been well. And she's been
Well,
looking for an alternative. And I remembered your channel, and I was like, we gotta talk to her and see what she's got.
yeah. Well, and once again, you can get a variety pack of the Keurigs to taste
Mhm.
them.
So you're trying to get me to buy a Keurig, and
No.
no,
You can
no,
cut
no,
them.
no. I
No,
didn't mean it.
you
I
can
didn't
pop
mean
them
it like
out
that.
of the Keurig and put it and do a 1-cupper strainer.
No, I know what you meant. If she was watching, I was trying to tell her I'm not buying her a Keurig. I'll buy.
Okay, next.
I'm just joking with you.
Knew that. I have lost weight.
You
If
have?
that's
On
the
set.
case, Hannah may have a
Texting
retrial.
with Seth Kenny, angry with Hannah.
Lost 22.
On the
Look at
license,
you.
so the ATF report for the Pieta that was involved in this accident, she was on set. They were close. We know that. And so Ms. Morrissey says, you hold on to that evidence and I'll come get it, in essence. She never does. November 2023. Fast forward to March 6, 2024. The end of Hannah Gutierrez Reed's trial. Teskey's in Santa Fe. Sees what happens, shows up at the sheriff's office, as we heard from Ms. Popple, and delivers that live.
I have a cappuccino machine.
I was gonna say a lot of coffee.
Cappuccino machine.
Ammunition that Hancock had not preserved, that Ms. Morrissey had not collected, that he
Oh,
believed.
and you can pay $40 a month plus shipping and get
I see
a
that.
membership.
I'm-
And you can
I'm about to just
select
do that.
whatever flavors you want and change them out as the seasons change.
You even got whole bean ground or the.
Yeah.
Look at you.
It's not me.
All right,
It's
all right.
my sponsor,
Well-
but yes.
Yeah. As soon as the missus gets home, I'm gonna show her this. And we're probably just gonna do that so she can
And let
just
them
order
know.
whatever she wants.
And let them know I sent you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'll probably just do that, and then
It's on the screen, Debbie. HitchmanHomestead.com.
yeah, we're gonna do that. And so, therefore, it's a win-win. I don't have to deal with it. She can get what she wants. Your sponsors are great. You sent us.
Well, and not only that, it's a small company. It's not a corporate, and you're supporting the American people and not corporate.
I about just said a real bad joke, and I just realized I was on YouTube.
Go for it.
I was, you're supporting the American people and not. I can't say it. I do not want to lose my job.
Oh, okay. Beep.
You know what I mean.
Okay, are you ready? 1, 2. You're supporting the American people, not. I got her. She's laughing. Okay, here we go.
It could be
What she said.
from the same batch, from that same green ammo can that we care about, that matched the bullet that killed Helena Hutchins. We heard, Your Honor, what Miss Popple did with it. They
Oh,
buried it.
sorry,
I'd like
y'all.
to say charitably.
I got to tell you a story. My Christmas wasn't that great.
I know.
Well, of course, I miss my sister, but Christmas Eve, I go get in my bed. Now, mind you, my brother in love gave me a brand new mattress for my bed
Oh,
because I've never had a new mattress, new, and my back has been giving me hell. Y'all know I've been really struggling and been in a lot of pain lately. And this is like an 18-inch deep spring with foam. I mean, one of these really nice ones. And so my kids, he called my kids. They ran to the house and put it on my bed and did all that stuff without me knowing. And then when I went home, I went, my bed's taller. What? Okay, so I have not wanted to get out of that bed. It's like, you know how you go to a nice hotel and you're just like,
mm,
oh. Well, Christmas Eve, my son and I were watching a movie in my bedroom. My G's 25, but almost. And my dog was laying between us and he fell asleep. And I mean, he was sawing logs. I wasn't going to wake him up. Nobody go cray cray. He's my kid. Right? He's my
Hey.
kid.
whenever I go home, I still curl up on my mom's bed. I don't give a crap. I'm 29 years old or not.
Yeah, right. But anyway, the dog Sensei was between us. In the middle of the night, I find myself catching myself falling off the bed because dog's paws went into my back, all four, and went, and she did this growl and pushed me off the bed, raking my right ribs down the side of the bed when I have a real thick base, and then I fall on my bad hips.
Oh no.
I spent most of the day in the vertical position. I spent time with my kids. It was good. It was just, I was so pissed. And then I get up that morning and I'm telling my son what happened. And she starts licking me and I went off and she went to get up and she puts her paw pad right in my eye.
Listen, it could have been worse. I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but we're gonna do it. You could have been on a hunger strike with a bunch of, I can't say that, but heads.
Give me a little fingers
Yeah.
up and I'll mute you.
That's what heads on. It could have been. That's what you could have been dealing with. That's what I was dealing with. Play.
Oh my God. That's horrible, Haley.
No, no, no. You keep that over there.
Yeah. Sensei obviously likes the bed. No.
Yeah. I think you might like it.
So anyway, Sensei was definitely loving the bed. Mama fell to the floor. Okay, back to this. Things are going to get interesting here.
That it was under the pile of the 5501 information that they didn't disclose. That's even too charitable because they put it under a different case with a different number We asked March 26th, we want all
My
of
birthday.
the ammunition
That was
from
birthday.
the Rust set that you've collected. April 16th, we show up for that viewing. We want all the live ammunition from the Rust set that you collected. It's not there. After
Okay, I'm gonna zoom. I gotta start doing this again. When I used to do this for every victim. Come on.
I'm gonna break some rules
should be
and
the
send
same.
something to you because they wish
it, I won't-
everybody. Yeah, you can put it on there. I'm gonna break some rules and then I'll deal with the consequences later.
No, don't
They
do it.
want to.
Mr. Russ,
They wanna
and put it with the rest
wish
of the evidence.
everybody a
Doesn't work
happy
anymore, does it?
holidays.
Because he did give a statement, right?
I'm trying to find. Oh, here she is. Oh God, here we go. I'll go look.
Well, okay, so just to be clear, you're a witness, okay? So you can say oath or whatever, but are you calling yourself as a witness?
Who's
Or do you
that?
want Mr. Spiro to call you as a witness?
It doesn't matter to me. How do you want to do it?
You're gonna make more testify. You better tell me what you said in that room.
I miss Kevin.
Okay, do you want to call yourself as a witness? No, well, just a minute. So he's willing, as I understand it, to rest now.
Mhm.
Okay? Now, you don't have to say anything under oath if you don't want to.
No, I'm happy to.
Okay, so not only
Yeah,
happy
you can
to-
take the fifth, Marcy, and get yourself out of trouble.
I don't, it doesn't matter to me whether you call yourself as a witness. It doesn't matter to the defense whether you call yourself as
Look
a
at him.
witness.
He's like, yeah,
So if you're calling yourself
did
as a
this to
witness,
yourself.
there's no one here.
jury's
that's
gone, case
requiring
on.
you to be
Taking him
called.
home, and they're probably not coming back.
Information, everything that happened in this regard, especially as it pertains to me, needs to come out in the public.
All right, so you're calling yourself as a witness.
And I am, and it was my understanding that the court indicated to me previously that you wanted me to testify. I understand you've now changed your mind. I think it's a good idea if I do it. Where would you like me?
Okay.
You want me here at
On
the
the-
podium?
No, on the
Okay,
witness.
sure.
Yeah, sit in the witness chair. Look
Get your butt in the hot seat.
Spyro's like, okay.
Okay, now
All right.
I'm
Ms.
gonna have to
Morrissey
have you hold your
voluntarily
voice
calling herself as a
while
witness
I
without
interpret.
Any requirement by the court to do so, or Mr. Spiro asking her to. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
No
the
way.
truth?
I
do.
muted you so I could hear
Go
the
ahead.
testimony, but stay. Okay, go.
During my investigation of this case and my review of the evidence in this case, I came to understand that there was a large batch of live ammunition
Have you ever
That was in the
seen me interpret?
possession of Thel Reed, Hannah Gutierrez's father. I also understood from all of the evidence and testimony that a portion of that batch of ammunition that belonged to Thel Reed was taken by Thel Reed and Seth Kinney to the 1883 cowboy training camp. When that was over, leftover ammunition was taken back to PDQ props. Seth Kinney took some of the ammunition from that container that he had brought back from Texas and turned it into the sheriff's department. And it appeared to me that he did it to try to exonerate himself. They took it from Mr. Kinney and they tagged it into evidence under the Rust case. Law enforcement then executed a search warrant at PDQ Props and they took the entire container. And I will say that I do agree, as I recall, although I don't have it in front of me, I do agree that the search warrant didn't really require law enforcement to take everything, but it was my understanding that Mr. Kinney gave them everything. So
Ma'am.
Please. A search warrant. If it says collect the lead, and lead shooters. You don't get to decide which lead and which shooters to collect.
No, I mean, like,
And say, for example, if it says vehicles in the garage,
all vehicles.
all vehicles in the garage. Now, if they're outside the garage, you're out of luck. You
Cannot
can
touch 'em.
only, you can't touch them. Now, if you are standing outside it and you can see in the window and there's something in plain sight that gives you probable cause, you get another warrant.
And well, you don't even have to get another warrant for that one. It's probable cause.
Well,
It's in your best interest to,
thank you.
but
Yeah.
you don't have to. But when it's dealing with, especially a case like this, it is in your best interest to just go ahead and contact the duty judge. Go ahead and get that warrant signed off on. So therefore, because if you see something in plain sight, you can only search that portion. You can't pop a trunk or anything like that.
Right. And that's the interesting thing because I knew somebody that was a baker and had a bag of powdered sugar in a Ziploc bag on the car seat, and the cake was in the trunk on their way to deliver it to a shower. And it was Christmas time, and it was a Christmas scene baby shower cake. Remember the little Coke bears, the Coca-Cola bears? Okay,
Yep.
that was the decoration because they loved the Coca-Cola bears, and that was going to be the theme, whatever. And the police officer pulled them over because they were in a higher vehicle and they could see in that they saw a bag with white powder in it.
Did you
So
see
they
that?
pulled the person over and they asked the person, "What is that?" And they said, "Powdered sugar." The person's in a chef coat, black. And they said, "Just a minute." They said, "We're going to get the drug dogs. You're not free to leave. We have probable cause to believe that may not be what you say it is." And they refused to pop the trunk. They took that bag and they tested it and felt like fools and delayed the delivery of the said cake. That was me.
Oh no.
I learned you don't put a bag of powdered sugar on the front seat.
No. There was I think it was
I was in such a hurry. But in the floorboard, there was a carry tote that I had all my piping bags. You could see icing in the bags. You could see the piping knife, the spatulas and all of that.
That's what I like. There's officers. I try to teach them. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Actually, you can.
Please
Do you
teach
know
me
how?
how.
Give them enough salt. It'll make them
I
thirsty.
just said dunk their heads in. You will learn this.
Get a wet
But
noodle and beat them.
pretty much.
Okay,
But
let's watch her dig herself a hole. And then we'll move on to the
so
next
that they
case.
would have it
I'm
and
gonna
could tag
listen,
it
but I'm
into
gonna change my
evidence.
pants.
Portions of that ammunition were then sent to the FBI for testing so that they could be compared to the live rounds that were found on the set of Rust. The FBI testing demonstrated that the live rounds that were taken from PDQ props that were originally in Texas did not match the live rounds on the set of Rust. And that's testimony that we heard during the Gutierrez trial. So what ended up happening was Mr. Bowles, Ms. Gutierrez's lawyer, put Mr. Teskey on a witness list and was intending to call him as a witness to the Gutierrez trial. I conducted a pretrial interview of Mr. Teskey, and I want to back up. I did at this point have some understanding that Mr. Teskey had had contact with law enforcement regarding these rounds.
I'm deaf
he still
without
had
my
in
hearing
Arizona.
aids.
So
Hi, for those who don't know, I'm Ada Kay. And yes, I am deaf without my hearing aids. I grew up hearing, became deaf as an adult. In the last 15 years, my hearing has declined to the point that without hearing aids, I can't hear anything. And with my aids, I hear a little bit. I depend mostly on lip reading. But in the new year, when we have a focused trial, myself or a friend will be interpreting. I've kind of taken a break, but when we have the Karen Reed trial, I will be interpreting.
These are rounds that never left Arizona. They were always in the possession of Thel Reed and Troy Teskey.
I can
They never
respect
went
that,
to Texas.
Rachel.
They never came to New Mexico.
Hi, Virginia.
That's what all of the
Little.
evidence indicated. So I understood that Detective Hancock had communication with Mr. Teskey about trying to get those rounds, and Detective Hancock was unable.
Is that a Christmas gift?
This? Yeah. It's from my mommy.
Oh, mommy, you're so cool. I like
to
it.
get those rounds
I didn't realize.
from
Am I still
Mr.
on my mom's
Teskey. I did
YouTube?
not.
Huh?
Does it pop up as AJ or me?
On what?
YouTube. I don't remember if I'm still on my mom's.
Spawn of AJ is what it says.
But I thought her logo popped up.
Well, when you went up, your logo popped up.
Mine or hers?
AJ, well, I mean, alternate juror.
Hold on, let me type something in chat.
Not find that particularly
I bet you.
concerning
I got scared for a
because
second.
those rounds had never left Arizona. The filming of Rust was in the state of New Mexico. And the rounds that were taken from PDQ went from Arizona to Texas to Albuquerque. So ammunition that is in the state of Arizona that has never left Arizona did not strike me that it had significant evidentiary value. Then,
If it came from the same original supplier, it damn well does have evidentiary value until you deem it not.
Not.
You don't
Egg.
go from not to. You don't sit there and go, nah, it doesn't. You have to
from to
assume everything is
Yes.
evidentiary value until you rule it out. You don't rule it out and then rule it in.
No.
Bitch,
No
please.
jury.
I have never, I'm not in law school. I'm not feds. I'm not any of that. And I freaking know that crap. Tell me if I'm wrong.
They're not wrong. You can't. That's not how that works. Like you can't. No jury is gonna take you seriously if you're like, "Hey, this wasn't evidence, but now it is." No, this is evidence, and then we're gonna rule it out.
That's right. It is not for the prosecution to decide if the defense wants to use it. Oh, Carmen, I found a Starbucks mug in your colors. That green? It'll
Ooh.
arrive shortly, and then I'm sending everybody's out. When yours
Pickle-
arrives, then I'll mail everybody's out.
So I have to say something to Pickle Knits. So,
Ooh,
His
you
name
in trouble,
makes me laugh.
girl?
It makes me laugh. So we have a pickle. It's literally like a crocheted pickle at work. It's our emotional support pickle. Hey, that's literally what we call it. So Pickle Knits. That makes me laugh because I'm gonna tell my sergeant that our pickle is no longer named Dill. It is named Pickle Knits.
Oh, Gabby, what would you like for me to say slower? That number one, evidence is always ruled. What was the word we were using? Evidentiary value is always there until you rule it out. You don't rule it. You can't sit there and say, nah, it's not important. And then later go back and say, well, maybe it is. always look at every piece of evidence as if it is evidentiary value. Well, some people, I do talk fast sometimes. That is something that is very important, and a lot of cases get in trouble for. And cases we don't get to hear or see even come to court because they get dismissed on the way the evidentiary value is handled from day one. Am I wrong? Okay, here we go.
Oh, and I will say, I believe I actually saw a photo of it. At that point in time, I was able to look at the
I need
ammunition
an
myself,
emotional
and it
support
was
pineapple.
visibly dissimilar than the rounds from the set of Rust. We then cut to November of 2023. Mr. Bowles has put Mr. Teskey on a witness list
I'm going to take a comfort break
for
and
the
let this
Hannah
run.
Gutierrez case. We conducted a pretrial interview with Mr. Teskey on November 2nd of 2023. At that point in time, he brought up that he was still in possession of these live rounds that were Thel Reed's live rounds that had never left the state of Arizona. I then, when he started, I think he indicated during the pretrial interview that they were from the same batch that was sourced from Joe Swanson. And I then said, we should get those from you. I had a conversation with Detective Hancock after that pretrial interview about how we could get the rounds from Mr. Teskey, and we were trying to figure out if we could send a local law enforcement agency to pick them up. I was then decided that I needed to figure out if that was necessary since they had never left Arizona. And up to that point, it was my impression that they did not match the live rounds from the set of Rust. I then, as I recall, reached out to Mr. Bowles. He and I had a conversation about whether or not the rounds should be tested by the FBI. And I was still trying to figure out if I could get the rounds from Arizona to New Mexico. So I asked Mr. Bowles to please send me a photograph of the rounds from Troy Teskey so that I could see with my eyes whether they were even remotely similar. If they were similar, I could go through the steps of obtaining the ammunition, connecting probably with local law enforcement, having a local law enforcement agency go to Mr. Teskey's residence and collect them. I didn't want to do that if they didn't look anything like the rounds from the set of Rust, because all 6 rounds from the set of Rust are identical to each other. So when I had this conversation with Mr. Bowles, he provided me the photograph that I showed this morning. And this is it was my understanding that this was a photograph from Troy Teskey. So Troy and I don't communicate. He's a defense witness. I can't communicate with a defense witness. So Mr. Bowles, as I recall, texted me this photo, and this is a photo that Mr. Teskey took at my request so that I could determine whether this ammunition was related in any way to the set of Rust, because it never left the state of Arizona. So if it never left the state of Arizona, the only way that it is relevant to the Rust investigation is if it has any similarity to the live rounds that were found on the set of Rust, because we were at that point trying to figure out the source of the.
Okay.
What?
The getting deep.
She
She's
just
just
said
digging it.
this. Oh my God.
What did she just say?
She just said way before this that this was from Texas and all this other crap. But she's like, but it never left this and this and that. Are you prosecuting yourself? Like,
If I was her, I would dig a hole and not come out for
No,
years. I'd leave the state.
this
I
is why
wouldn't
people leave
practice in
this
that state
country.
again. See,
Ugh.
I don't think many people realize how bad this is.
No,
When
I
you
100% agree with you.
when you sit here and start dissecting and listening to it again after the shock of what the hell is she doing, and you really start listening, you're like, what? Now, when I'm interpreting, I don't remember anything because I'm listening, signing, and listening, and it's a very hard process, and I don't retain much. But wow,
I don't understand. I don't. I've never ever seen a prosecutor do this. Like it's literally like she's prosecuting herself.
Mhm. I don't know why she's still on the case. She is a special. She's not actually a prosecutor. She's
Yeah,
not a part of the AG office. She
I
is
don't
an
get it.
attorney.
I don't get it.
The live rounds. When I received this photograph from Mr. Bowles, I could immediately tell that these are very dissimilar from the live rounds that were found on the set of Rust. They have brass primers. So this is what was presented to the prosecution as the rounds that were in Mr. Teskey's possession. They have
love
brass
you. I'm
primers and
sorry.
not silver primers.
Can you put a piece
One of them, the one on the left, appears to be a Starline brass casing, but they have truncated cone projectiles. We had seen ammunition that looked exactly like this, not exactly, but very, very similar. And that ammunition was the ammunition that was collected from the sheriff's
Sorry.
department
Okay.
and went to the FBI for testing and was determined not to be similar in any way to the live rounds. What do you want?
Sorry, we're ordering lunch. Okay, I want to say
That's
this
fine.
right here. She has been basically, the Attorney General's office has said that they are not going to pursue the appeals any further. And that basically the AG told her, "You just need to stop. We're done."
Hmm.
She's not happy about it. I wish I had the actual paper where there's two letters that were sent, one from her and one from the AG, and that's what I need my hands on, those two letters, because if you read between the lines, there's some very interesting things. Oh, okay.
Let's see
So-
what we can do.
Huh?
I said let's see what we can do.
So, she is a disgrace. But the thing is that it's like she's got that bullseye on him, and it doesn't matter. She's going to keep going after it until she gets what she wants. But, let's see, she acted disgracefully. She could have gotten him charged if she had done her job the way she should have done it. Possibly. Yeah. But convicted, you mean, not charged. Yeah. But here's what got me in all of this. Yes, they're going to appeal it. It was appealed. It was denied. She's appealing it again. And the DA, or the Attorney General, was it the DA? Sorry. The DA finally said, enough. We're not going to do any more. She is an embarrassment to the DA. And she also sent her own letter. So we recently, on Christmas Eve, I think it was the 23rd or the 24th, there were 2 letters, one from her and one from the district attorney's office. And both of them, I mean, district attorney said, we're not pursuing this any further. So he's done. They can't come after him anymore. They're not going to go after him anymore. And she is so not happy. That's why we're kind of watching her dig herself into a hole. So one thing she says here, and that I caught my eye this time, was that she's
On the set
saying
of Rust.
that the
And
feds,
went
listen to this part.
The ammunition that looked exactly like this, not exactly, but very, very similar. And that ammunition was the ammunition that was collected from the sheriff's department and went to the FBI for testing and was determined
Oh, it
not
did?
to be similar in any way to the live rounds on the set of Rust. So when I saw this photograph,
I call BS.
No, it didn't. Just bleep, bleep,
I
bleep,
wish
bleep,
I
bleep.
wish the FBI could go over her and go, you want to say that
You want-
again?
Yeah.
You want
it's
to
like,
implement us
bet?
again?
No, it
I could
didn't. Which
see
documentary you
that
want?
it was not at all similar to the live rounds on the set of Rust. And I decided not to take any steps.
Okay.
Okay.
He is going to get into a fabulous cross. I just blew my mind. But
Do you want the entire court docket?
whatever you want to give me.
Uh,
But what I'm saying here is that you, as a prosecutor, cannot sit there and look at a piece of lead or evidence and try to match it to another piece of evidence on your own. You are not an expert. You send everything, and they turn around and tell you what matches and doesn't. You had this evidence under a different case number. Don't tell me you didn't know about it, and don't throw your people under the bus when you're the one that freaking told them to put it under a different case number. Let's
Yep.
keep going.
Okay, if you can't answer the question, you can't answer the question. I'll move on.
I'm happy to, but
But
You say that the extent of the communications you have about the doc report, as you relay it to the court, is that all you said in response was, great, do that? That's your testimony?
yeah, I assumed that it was going to be tied to the same case number. So I said, great, do it, file a report.
No follow-up questions?
what?
No, because I had a picture of the ammunition that didn't match the ammunition from the set of Rust.
No concerns in your mind when you got the case file and you turned it over to us that it wasn't included?
Absolutely not. There's a terabyte of discovery. I didn't know whether this 2-page police report had been provided. And in addition to that, I had no reason to believe, and still have no reason to believe, that those rounds have anything to do with these cases.
As I asked you about Mr. Haig yesterday when Ms.
That's
Popple
not for
testified,
you
would
to
agree with me that her
decide.
testimony under oath was false.
What part of her testimony was false? And I'll answer.
That she said that these rounds don't look anything like the rounds on the set when you elicited that testimony.
I agree with you, and I didn't realize that there were rounds that looked like that.
It's okay. In any event, when the court, and you never tested those rounds either, correct?
Any of the rounds that came from Mr. Teskey? No, because they came in just a few months ago.
And the court asked you actually one question that I want to address, which is
I really,
the court
I
said
was
to you,
gonna say, I really only need, AJ, Spawn of AJ, I only really need the last 2 documents that came out from the district attorney's office and her concerning the appellate. But look, and she's been a defense attorney. That slays me. And it does. She's been a defense attorney. She knows better.
Yes, she does.
Yep. Yep.
Well, what's interesting to me, to be quite honest, is that yesterday you didn't even want to do a written reply. You wanted to just give an oral response. And what you said to the court was, I never saw these. I've never seen these, and I never saw the report. I have absolutely never seen these until this morning. Do you remember saying that to the court?
With regard to the 3 Starline brass, with regard to the 3 cartridges that appear to be similar to rust, yes.
Well,
I never saw them until today.
Well, but you said also, I never saw
What?
the report, right?
I never did.
Right, but don't you think, given your duty of candor to this court, that that's awfully misleading to not tell the court at that point that you knew about this when it occurred long ago?
That I knew about what?
You knew that Mr. Teskey had turned in this evidence, that you knew that the report would have existed because you just told this court that the doc report was okayed by you.
Sure.
Don't you think it was misleading to this court to not just say at that point, you know, just so you know, I know about this. I knew about this then. I was involved.
I did not intend to mislead the court. My understanding of what was dropped off
Bro,
at the
you
sheriff's
sure did.
department is on this computer screen, and it looks absolutely nothing like the live rounds from the set of Rust.
But do you know what? Looks can be deceiving, and that is not for you to decide.
The truth of this matter is, you don't like Mr. Baldwin very much, do you?
You know, that is absolutely untrue. I actually really appreciate Mr. Baldwin's movies. I really appreciated the acting that he did on Saturday Night Live, and I really appreciate his politics.
You told one of the witnesses who disagreed with you during an interview that you thought Mr. Baldwin was a cocksucker.
I do not recall saying that. I know that that was something that Mr. Baldwin.
Oh, look at my expression. And of course, Spawn of AJ's gone. Holy, I forgot about that. I forgot. Let's go back. There goes my, let's see if I can.
I really appreciated the acting that he did on Saturday Night Live, and I really appreciate his politics.
You told one of the witnesses who disagreed with you during an interview that you thought Mr. Baldwin was a cocksucker.
I do not recall saying that. I know that that was something that Mr. Baldwin would say on the set of Rust. I don't recall saying that.
Do you deny that under oath?
Without having more information, I can tell you that I do not recall ever saying that. And if I did say it, I invite you to point it out to me.
You called him an arrogant prick to another witness.
To who? To what witness?
I'm asking you, did you call him an arrogant prick during a witness interview?
I don't believe I did. I don't recall.
You deny that?
Without knowing what you're talking about, all I can tell you is that
I'll go back and watch myself later.
And you said also to
Thank
witnesses that you would
Can you
teach
see
him a
if she
lesson.
needs to go?
I never said to witnesses that I would teach him a lesson. Absolutely not. In fact, Mr. Spiro, I want to give a full response to your question. I made every effort in this case to resolve this case with your client in a very favorable way for him.
All right, I'm going to move to strike this. It's not responsive.
It is
Well, I don't
responsive.
want to talk about plea negotiations.
Yeah, and it's not responsive. So I have no further
All right, do you have any follow-up testimony? All
I-
right,
I want to say I have no
Oh, look at me going.
recollection of calling him any of those names. I have invited the defendant to tell me what he's talking about, and he has declined. I want the court to take notice of that.
thank you. You may step down.
I find it interesting. She
All
didn't
right, any other witnesses?
emphatically deny the first two, but
All
she
right,
did the
so
last one.
Argument. let's
Okay,
not,
I'm going to do this. I'm going to mute this so I don't get dinged again. I want to go back a little bit and see if I've not watched myself. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, wait. Let's see if I can. I gotta find it. What do you say? Let's fill in the dead time. What do you think, Spawn of AJ?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that could be really inappropriate.
Okay.
I can't do
Hold on, we're
that.
getting.
I don't even have to say anything.
OMG. Oh wow, that is so interesting. I don't watch myself. I hate watching myself sign. Absolutely hate seeing myself sign. I don't like it. It's like listening to yourself talk. I rather hear myself talk than I do signing.
So, even though like I didn't get my butt chewed out, but my lieutenant answered the phone and was like, "I thought you said don't call me, don't text me, don't send a bat signal, nothing for the next 2 days, and here you are calling me." I was like, "Yeah, I got a question."
And the question was?
She's gonna look into it and see if we can get the if there's a certain part of that docket that is sealed still. So we're gonna see if we can get that unsealed. If there's a reason why it's sealed. So if
You
we
can do that?
Nope, sure can't.
Good for you.
So that is very, very out of my realm. But I know that she knows who to talk to about that stuff. So
Well, my thing is we've got all of Boone's behavioral notes through to just before Christmas. Some people have bits and pieces. I can actually go from day one to present.
yeah, I
Thanks
know. I saw
to
that
some
stuff
people.
was. I was gonna say, like, if you know how to find it, like, it was released. Because I was trying to look, even when I went through my own thing with the Alec Baldwin thing, there's a certain section of it that's sealed. I was like, why?
Well, yeah. So the thing is we are going to say good night and farewell to the Alec Baldwin Trail. Booney Tunes. Yes, we named Sarah Boone Booney Tunes.
Aw,
We sure did. Now,
she is.
we
Did
sure
you
did.
buy a suitcase in honor of her?
I did.
Buy a suitcase and like
Oh,
50,000
no. Do you know what I
gallons of
was
wine?
going to do? I was going to do, and people talked me out of it. I do magnet fishing.
I have wanted to do that for so
When I come up
long.
to Livingston and visit you, there's a lot of good bridges. I will bring it and we can go magnet fishing. So this is what happened. I was going to set it up where I was going to take the fingertips, you know how she cut off the glove fingertips? And I said, yeah, she was giving it to people who were putting illegal medicines in it to tie it up. And, but I was going to glue a paper clip inside of them. And then I was going to get a bunch of cheese and glue them together and put a piece of metal and glue some more. And so I'm going to magnet fish. I'm going to set it up. You know, I know it is.
Yeah, I got you.
And I'm going to start pulling all this stuff. And then I was going to pull up a suitcase with a skeleton hand coming out.
So you can do that. We got
Yeah, but
private
everyone
dock.
said no.
Oh, we got a private dock. You can do that on. So
No, sorry. My daughter tried on something. Okay. We've got, go ahead.
But I was gonna say, you don't need to ask anybody. We got a private dock, so we got you.
Do you want to do it?
Yes, that'd be freaking
Okay.
awesome.
I found the suitcase at Goodwill.
Somebody asked. Oh, Debbie asked, how did you get the inmate notes?
One of our peeps got a hold of them. Debbie, if you would like, you may join me. I will give you the notes and we can go through them. But there, I have from day one all the way. Yep. Maybe we ought to do that as a part of our guys. I'm going to do a New Year and I'm going to start on New Year's Eve day, and I'm going to go all the way through midnight of California time. And I want to have people hop in and out. We're going to read. I'm going to change voices on it. I'm going to have it all balloons and decorated.
That'd be cool.
Next case was the James Crumbly trial.
Oh, I got my feelings about this one.
Yes, and join us in Discord. Debbie, join our Discord, and I can pass those to you through our Discord. Okay, babe? So join me in Discord. What? I want to hear your thoughts on this, and then I'll chime in. That was my second case that well, no, it wasn't. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Oldest, yes, it was my second case. So we're just hopping through my second case.
So I battled with that one.
Okay.
Because I watched that all the way through. And though one of my very good friends wasn't a school pew-pewer, you know, he did some really, really bad crimes. And then studying them, and stuff like that, like kids that do things like that. And then looking into the legal side of things, I battled with it because I'm 50-50. To me, if you prosecute the parents, you are setting a precedent for the nation. And that can be a very slippery slope. The only reason that I was like, all right, maybe you should be charged with something, not necessarily that, but something, was it was very evident to me, in my opinion, that they kind of tried to like flee a little bit and hide some evidence, even though they weren't really good at it. They had the receipt in their pocket. I'm very torn because I look at it like, okay, let's say that I'm hypothetically YouTube. Let's not YouTube daddy. Let's not get all crazy here. I want to go be a school pew-pewer. Do I expect my parents to be prosecuted for that? No. That is my decision to go and do that. Especially if I live on a farm where we have pew-pews for coyotes and stuff like that to get away from our calves. But at the same time, I'm a very big advocate on firearm safety. And knowing where it's at all times. I know where all of mine are at all times. If it's loaded, if it's unloaded, if it's jammed, if it needs, if it needs cleaned, what have you. I know each and every one, what it needs, what it doesn't need, whatever it may be. I know exactly what is going on with that pew-pew or lead shooter. I know that with it, because that to me is being a responsible lead owner. But when you're dealing with a quote unquote child, even to this day, I do not know how I feel about the parents being prosecuted, because you are setting a precedent across the nation about some things. And I mean, I say that, but then again, we've had how many school unalivings since then, and the parents aren't prosecuted?
I think here's the case where I agree with this. I was on the fence. I always try to play devil's advocate on both sides because that's what I do personally. And I haven't shared, I might share a little bit, but personally, right now, after mulling over all this, I think where the parents should have been held liable, they knew he had mental issues. they knew that he was fixated, let's say.
Yep.
The
What you-
fact that they thought by buying him a lead shooter and taking him to the range might get him out of his funk. Not the wisest
See,
decision. And
so
then
that's
they bought a 22 and then didn't put it in the lock box that they bought, didn't put the what's that wire thing that goes through it? Lock on it. They
Yeah.
took 0 steps to ensure the safety of that lead shooter and to
But-
ensure that when that lead shooter was not under supervision of an adult, it was safe. That
But
is a problem. And
it's
then
problem.
they buy him another one.
Here's my issue with that. I know if I went and knocked on every single door around me and I asked them, is there a child in your household? Yes. Do you have, we call it a chamber lock here.
Thank you,
Uh,
chamber lock. That's what I was looking for.
But do you have a chamber lock on your pew? No. Most
It
of the
wasn't
time,
just that by itself. I don't disagree by itself. But this child was known to have a fixating issue on lead shooters. He was known to have severe mental illness, and they gave him 2 weapons. It's the
here's
mental issue mixed with, it's not that they said it was my weapon. And yes, I would go and we would go target practicing at a range as a family activity. I would not be on the side of the fence I'm on today. But when you know that your child is having severely mental issues or depression or whatever, and you buy it and you give it to him, and she said, oh, I didn't give it to him, but yet there's text. Look what I gave him for Christmas.
yeah,
Okay.
there definitely is.
That is where I hold the parent responsible, because you knew he was mentally unstable and you gave him, and they're not allowed to own, children of that age are not allowed to own a weapon
Mhm.
like that. Now they can have a rifle under the
Yeah.
age of 18. I think it's 17 now, or is it 16?
16.
16.
Depending on what state you're on.
Right.
Depending on what state you're in.
In Texas, I think it's 16. But the whole thing for me that flipped me over to the parent should be held partially responsible is they knew he had problems. They gave it to him, and not 1, but 2. And
And
then
that's-
when
yeah.
the school said, and they showed the picture of what he drew, and they didn't say anything about them owning any of that, and then they made him stay in school instead of taking him with them and getting him help. That's the scenario. Now, I don't believe every parent should be held responsible if their child does something like this, because y'all, if they want a lead shooter bad enough, they're going to find a way to
They're
get
gonna
it.
get it. Yeah.
They're going to get it. But it was the parents' behavior that got me
Yep.
here.
And that I agree.
And I'm
with
not
you
saying
on
you're
that.
wrong.
No,
That's
and
just
that's
my
that's
humble
the
opinion.
part- that's the part that I agree with you on. It's I have seen like
Yep,
I
we'll
went to
go there.
calls where a 2-year-old does something because they didn't know any better, and it's due to the parent being very irresponsible with their lead shooter. And just, if you're gonna have it, be responsible. But at the same time, this is where I get caught up, is not so much the parents being charged, but with what they were charged with. is where I have a problem.
I don't disagree. They don't
That
have
it's
a
not
law written
exactly,
that
and that's
covers
where I
what
exactly.
they're being charged with.
And that's where my issue lies. I don't have a problem with the parents being charged. I think they should be, especially when y'all flee and then you literally have a receipt in your pocket. You can't dispute that. And I don't have an issue with that at
Accessory?
all.
I forgot the actual legal things they were charged with, but once
They got hit
again,
with the mom got hit with
yeah, but once again, we do have a law that if you're driving a vehicle and the person in the vehicle goes in a gas station, unalive somebody, gets in the car and drives off, you are equally responsible.
but I don't know if
That's
that's in Michigan. I know that's in Texas,
yes, but
but
that's in a
I
lot of
don't know if
states.
that.
But
And
I
that's
guess
where
what
I
I'm
just
saying is that's how they may have been looking at it.
and that's where I have it. And the biggest thing that I also have an issue with is, and I could be completely wrong. I could be remembering wrong. Is they charged him as an adult, correct?
Yes,
So he's life without parole.
yes, but he was
So
17.
this is where I have an issue with it. I've seen a lot of bad people in my life, and I have literally stared pure evil in the eyes more times than I would like to admit to. When he started crying with when his counselor got up there, those were real tears. And in my opinion, and I've seen people do the crocodile tears, and I've seen people do the crocodile tears very well. Those were real tears, in my opinion.
Yep.
And that, and he had the opportunity. He had the opportunity to blast way more than he did,
Hmm. I
and he
think
didn't
you,
take it.
yeah. And here's where I kind of struggle with the we'll talk about this that's on the screen in a second. I struggle with the mental health issue. It needs to
Yeah,
be broken down more in the legal world because you have a 17-year-old who legally is an adult, pretty much in
yep.
the state of Texas, for example, or a lot of states. And okay, he's going to spend most of his life in prison for what he did. He killed multiple. That's just. But there should be a mandatory number of years in a treatment facility to
And
get
that,
him mental help
yes.
because
So
prison don't have the
that's
facilities to handle the mental health. Their mental help is
no,
popping pills and
don't.
seeing a therapist once a month and going to group once a week. That is
And
not the help they need.
and people like they think that I'm joking when I say there's more drugs in prison than there is on the street.
Yep,
And I'm
there is.
not joking when I say that. And it's we are so overwhelmed with the amount of mental health treatment that needs to be done. Like we don't know what to do. And I mean, and I tell like my sergeant, my lieutenant, I will say that. I'll say that. We call it a podcast 'cause that's what I have to call it. Um, and I'm like, I will say that on there because it's the truth. And I'm
It's
like,
a
I'm not gonna
factual
get on
truth. It's
somewhere
not
and
a hidden
yeah,
thing.
exactly. And I'm like, I'm not gonna get on something and lie about that. That's a fact. That's a fact. Is
Even
we
the
are
DOJ has
drowning in that.
admitted it. DOJ's admitted we don't know what to
Yeah.
do. This is an
So
epidemic that is not solvable at this point.
and it's just so I'm not gonna name the county just because I don't want to not open that can of worms. My last county. So basically, you can go back on videos and I'm sure I name it in there. If you really, really want to know the county that bad, I'll tell you in private chat. But if anybody else in the chat wants to know that bad, I'm sure I name it. We had our mental health dorm, and this dorm did not have any windows in it. We didn't really let them out, and we couldn't, like, it was a battle with the TV because you got this group over here thinking that the TV is aliens, and then you got this group over here that if you shut it off, they would freak out. And it was bad. And one of the worst cases I ever saw was regarding mental health was his first name was Matthew. And his family like literally begged the state and begged the judge not to let him out. He was not stable. And he had been in the state psychiatric unit for a couple of years. And they didn't listen. And he went home and he literally carved his mom's chest out. Like literally carved it out. And then slashed his dad. His dad was able to kind of put himself back together, call 911. But Matthew, he went and he sat on the couch. He didn't fight anybody. He's probably one of the most compliant people I've ever met. But there's no reasoning with him. But then I look at Ethan Crumbley. I don't feel like that is the same. And that's what's hard. Because, and then I look at, we had another guy in there, his last name was Lee. That Lee was a severe schizophrenic, and I had to be really careful with the TV. And some days he was okay with the TV on. Other days, no, we're gonna fight if I turn that TV on. And I can't put Lee into society. I can't put Matthew into society. But it's always bothered me. Could I put Ethan into society? And I
don't think
don't
no.
know. I don't know the answer to that.
I think right now you definitely cannot. But
Right now,
unfortunately,
no, absolutely not. I couldn't.
okay, we're going to take this real quick and then I'll go there. They need a new trial, new filings. They weren't running. The school is liable, not his parents. Actually,
Which-
I don't agree. The parents should hold
Really?
some amount of responsibility for providing two weapons to this young child.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see the last part of that.
Yeah.
I thought. Do you agree that do you agree
I believe
or
the
disagree?
school,
Okay.
and once
That's what I
again,
thought.
this is where I struggle. I understand the school as an entity is responsible for what their staff does. So with where you work, if you do something that gets somebody unalived, they're going to come after you and the organization. Oh, you're a sweetheart.
See,
Thank you, honey.
So,
bun.
and that's
And
what I keep meaning to ask Cheyenne because I know that she knows all the laws to this.
who?
My partner Cheyenne. I
Uh-huh.
know that she knows all the laws to this on who technically is responsible when a child is drawing certain things and you don't report it.
Well, actually, the individual therapist, I believe, now let's put it this way. I don't know the school system now, but my father was a teacher, a principal, and a superintendent. My mother worked in school systems as secretaries and worked in very closely with a lot of this, so I know a little bit. My daughter made me a baked potato. She's so sweet.
Oh my gosh, that
but
sounds delicious.
I know, right? But I will say this, and the thing for me is that the school ultimately is going to be held liable because they have the insurance and the money.
Yep.
But I think that faculty should lose his job. I think
Yeah.
that faculty person should have said, no, he's going home with you and he's not returning until y'all get him medical help. I felt that they had already had enough issues with him to know that he had a little problem. And when you have someone showing a lead shooter and a body in the way that that picture was, you cannot
Yes.
reason it anything other than what it was. And so the school, I can't say the school dropped the ball as an entity because the school didn't know. The principal and all of them the superintendent didn't know. That
The
counselor and I don't remember if the principal was in the office, but the people who were actually physically engaging with that child, 100% responsible.
So
100%
this is
should bear
where I
some of the
get
responsibility.
this is where I get like really mixed up in my feelings about it. And because like I said, I've seen the baddest of the bad. And I've seen people that they didn't do anything. But I from one end of the spectrum to the other, I've seen it. And what bothers me is his parents were in the school having a parent teacher conference with the counselor, and he's got all this in his back. If that was my school in high school, that he would have been pulled away immediately. All bags would have been searched on the spot. Like they wouldn't have even taken a chance.
But see,
And that's
that's
what I
why I
don't
hold the parents
understand.
more responsible than the school because when they saw what he drew, they knew what they had at home. They did not notify school, hey, we actually have that at home.
Yeah.
And I would have pulled my child aside and I would have said, you're coming home with me. Give me your backpack. And I would have looked at it right then and there. I would have asked, where is it?
So, okay.
I
So
believe now another reason why the parents should be held more responsible. But the school had all they needed, probable cause wise, to investigate that backpack.
that's what I'm saying. It's like you had
Both of them.
it doesn't take anything. You could literally blink twice instead of once and you got probable cause. It doesn't take anything
Much.
to get probable cause. And that's, I mean, okay, if you compare Georgia, the recent school led shooter that mom called, and I listened to that 911 call, it broke my heart. And she was like, I need, like, no, like, you need to go get him, like, right now. And she was like, something is wrong. You need to go get him. She knew. And there's part of me that, I know people said I'm crazy for it, but there's a mother's instinct there. She
Mhm.
knows. And then on top of that, but it's like, the difference is that mom said something versus this mom didn't. And it's not that I don't think that the people, like the parents, shouldn't be charged in this because I 100% believe that the parents should be charged in this. I just don't know if they should be charged with what they are charged with.
I honestly, in this case, and I know people are going to disagree with me, but sometimes the only way you're going to get the attention of that parent is to throw the book.
Yep.
They
And,
were
and
so, she
you
was
are
more
exactly
worried.
right.
She was more worried about going to her horseback riding than she was her son.
And that's what's always bothered me because if you go and look at the text messages between them, and he was begging. He was begging for his
Mhm.
mom. He was begging
Mhm.
for his dad. He was begging for love and for help. And that's the part that I guess maybe I'm just a little too soft on. But it's hard not to be. That's a kid. And I try like for me, it's really hard because I get told like that I'm desensitized to a lot of things because I am.
And we are. We are.
Exactly. Like you can
But
show me a lot of things and I won't even bat an eye to it. And I try really hard when it comes to, especially when it comes to kids. But at the same time, you tried to reenact Columbine, which is one of the worst in American history. So I
Uvalde
haven't,
is up there too.
yeah, I got an issue with that one, and but it's I just I don't know, and I've told myself that I'm actually gonna sit down and rewatch that case and like the evidence that I can see now, and
Well, I could definitely, I've got it here. We can definitely watch it on I am
YouTube.
having a brain cramp. Discord. But
I can
the
watch
thing
it.
with the thing about this whole case for me, it was a preceding case, and I get it. But at the same time, I think though too many years, parents have gotten away with a lack of being a responsible parent, and that they need to be held accountable for certain things that they are never held accountable for, and the child suffers the punishment alone.
Exactly.
And in this case, I think they got it right. In the
And
sense that they should have been tried. I think
I
also in
100%
this
think
case, after I've thought about it and looked at it, because I was like you, I didn't like what they were charged with, but to me, it was so outrageous of all the signs. Everything was right in front of them. They weren't paying attention. He was drinking in their home. He was doing things. She knew he was taking the weapon and making videos and playing around. She knew all of this. So did the father. They were not naive to this. It wasn't like it was a coded podcast channel the parents didn't know about. And they, there are a lot of times parents are helicopter parents and still don't know things. But in this case, I'm not going to fight too much for the parents. I'm sorry.
no, and it's what bothers me is so there was I don't know it's gonna sound real stupid when I say it, but there was a Dr. Phil episode, and this kid is textbook serial unaliver. I mean textbook with unaliving animals like pets, that's how it starts. And absolute textbook doesn't understand what empathy is, doesn't feel empathy, nothing. And then she went on and unalived people, and nobody was held responsible. And they was like, oh, we just thought that she was just joking. It was, you guys literally went on national television. That's the part that bothers me. It's this parent over here is not being held responsible when you guys went on national television and your kid was as textbook as it comes. And then you got this kid over here that was sitting here begging for help. I'm not excusing anything that Ethan did because that was horrible. But
he was begging for help.
But he was begging for help, and then we prosecute the parents. It's like,
I think
you either need to prosecute them all. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think this needs to be a case by case, honestly. Because look at Crumbly. Those parents should have received life. I don't think he should have. Because unless
Thank you.
The thing is this.
Thank you.
Because he is so young, I think that he could receive the potential for life, and it's all based on his therapy growth, his mental health status. While you were in prison, Mr. Crumbly, young man, it's all in your hands. you actively work in getting yourself healed and you are productive for 20 years, then we will look at what you've done and we will have you evaluated. And at that point, if we think that this could be commuted to possibility of parole at that, because he's a child. I mean, anybody under the age of 25, their brain's not mentally, I mean, their brain's
Exactly.
not physically there.
You're not developed enough.
No,
That's why car
that's where
insurance.
I
That's
have
why,
a problem.
yeah,
Now,
that's
if he was like that young man who tried to kill President Trump, and had he succeeded and lived through it, he should get the death penalty because he knew what he was doing. He was, there's just, you got to weigh each case individually
and
and
that's where
what was going on with the case and who knew what. I mean, there is no black and white answer here, and there never
Exactly.
will be.
And that's what a lot of people do not understand about law enforcement. And that's why, you and my mom do these channels and stuff. It's to educate people that
Mm-hmm.
there is more gray area than there is black and white.
Far more.
And there is way more gray area, and there is so many things that are case by case, but yet our justice system just writes it off of, nope, it's this way or that way, and it's not. And because do I think Ethan Crumbley's parents should have been charged? Yes, I do. But do I think I can't remember his name, the parents in Georgia, do I think they should be charged? No, I don't. And
Were
if
they?
they're not,
Which one?
no,
not yet.
no, they haven't been charged. I hope they're not. But then you get Ethan that is charged as an adult, and then you get this other kid. Again, I cannot remember his name. He was 16.
But he's 16 under the age of 17.
But
Some
that's what I'm-
states are 16, some are 17.
And that's just the thing. It's if you're gonna do it, just make it across the board. Just make the age across the board. It's
Well,
if you do this, then this is how it is. Because
Yeah.
at the same time, it's if you get in the car and you're under the age of okay, or not even in the car. If you're walking on the street and you're under the age of 21, you get busted for being intoxicated. Doesn't matter what state you're in. That's against the law. And
Yep.
that's where I have an issue. It's if you're going to make it where this state you charge an adult, this state you don't, this state you do, this,
letter.
like that's what I have an issue. Just make that across the board. And maybe it'll be an eye opener for some. But if we do not get a handle on this mental health, it's not going to matter what law we put in place. I deal with this every single day. I see it every single day. It's going to sound
I didn't
really
disagree
bad.
with that.
Like it's going to sound really bad, but it's like I do a lot of dark humor just to make myself laugh and feel better. But like I've been dealing with human piñatas the past month. And it sucks.
Yeah. Well,
And
the thing we're going to have to learn as a society that we're going to break if we don't deal with the mental health crisis. And
exactly.
I don't understand. And here's something that I don't understand. Back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, why was our mental health not in the crisis it is now? Number one, by the way,
You
why I
want-
have this up,
you want my
FBI
answer?
went to talk to the dad, after this question, and posted on Discord that he's going to take that's what I'm talking about. There is a breakdown in the system.
You gotta go with me outside because it's lightning. I gotta go get my glasses so I don't seize out on you. You gotta
What?
take a field trip with me.
What's happening?
I got it. It's we got bad storms over here. And it's lightning. And I don't have
No.
my glasses on for my seizures. So
Oh,
you're gonna
you
take a
have
field
glasses?
trip with me.
Oh, are they the ones like Emily D. Baker have?
Yeah.
I need to get some because I'm severely dyslexic.
Oh, that's random. I don't have shoes on. Shoot.
I need to
Sorry.
get me some. I'm sitting here pulling up my I'm pulling up my storm chasing. I have this storm. Y'all know I'm a storm chaser, right? I've got some awesome.
Really?
Oh my God! Holy crap! Do you
Yeah.
ever?
We're getting pounded. That's what she said. Sorry, I had to do it.
Y'all look. They ain't kidding when they say they getting pounded. Now, you see that blue dot? I'm gonna. Let me do this. Let me get this. Let me get this. The blue dot. Let me get it tilted. Is me. She is
I'm over there.
59 North, right?
Yep.
Yep, there it is. She's approximately there. Oh, you can't see it. It's so hard to hold this up. She's approximately somewhere over there. Look what you're getting ready to get hit with, babe.
Yes. I was wondering when my animals were going nuts.
And see, we get nothing. I get nothing here in the hill country. I get nothing in the hill
Yeah,
country.
That's why I told my sergeant, my lieutenant, this morning. I was like, don't call me, don't text me, don't send me a bat signal, don't send me a postcard, nothing. They're like, we got 70 mile an hour winds coming. I was like, yep, sure do. Don't call me. I'm kidding.
So I'm watching the pattern. Let me see. You got a lot of little stuff, but the big is going to hit you at 250, 245. The big stuff.
I can't wait for something. To take down my fence again. What could be
Oh, we
better?
have a tree in our backyard that took down my neighbor's power line. So anyway, but let's
somebody asked
answer
me what
that
I did.
question I gave you, if you remember it.
I don't.
We were talking, I guess I could rewind my live and ask it again. But basically, the thing is there were so many balls that were dropped in this particular case. And yes, laws need to change. And there's nothing we can do here to change those laws today. However, that is why it's very important for you to vote for your representatives and you fight for some changes in the law. Come proactive. Don't sit there and piss and moan about something and not do anything about it. Colt Gray, 14-year-old dad Colin Gray. Yeah. Now, the next, we're going to get to that. So if they bark, it's okay. I'm not a pissy person about that. The next trial.
He knows it. So.
That's okay. The next trial. So let me end the Crumbly trial. All of them were found guilty. All of them are gone for life without the possibility of parole. That family was destroyed. But if you become a parent, you are responsible for that child till they reach the age of maturity and adult legally. And I always was accused of being a helicopter parent, too strict, always on my kids, all that kind of stuff. But guess what? I'd rather be that kind of person than to be the opposite, which is what shows in the Crumblies. And it's okay to disagree with me. Oh, crap. I grabbed the wrong thing.
It's all right.
Hey, getting ready for Christmas, New Year. Actually.
So somebody,
That looks
they asked me what I did for a living. I work for the federal government. We'll just say that.
She's a federal employee. That's all we can say here. Okay. So the next case I really got interested in, and that was the George Kelly ranch trial.
Ooh, do I know that one?
That is where George Kelly had a ranch in New Mexico that literally went to the wall separating the border of Texas and, New Mexico. And New Mexico. And the thing is that I don't live on the border, but let me tell you, I've been to the border and you could, maybe you've seen these videos, but I went through some training years ago on the border, and some people call my BS on this, but maybe since you can validate me, where American tourists are kidnapped. You're walking down the street with your family members, and then you've got like two people in front, one in back, and then you turn around and that third person's not there anymore.
Gone. They are gone. Gone in the
Gone.
wind.
And they actually will take them and try to make them become mules. And if they don't, they torture them. Sometimes they just torture them. And the videos I saw and some of the evidences and things that I was shown through this training was people getting their arms cut off with a machete. And while they're sitting there bleeding and screaming, they're feeding the arm to their large game, i.e. lions and exotics. And they literally will dismember the person until they pass out, never wake up again, and feed them to their animals.
Also, I can't remember what it's called. Whenever you burn a wound, make it stop bleeding.
Cauterize it.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
Make the person last a little bit longer.
Yep.
And
So
then,
So you validate me. I mean, it is that bad.
it
The
is
cartel
really that
is,
bad.
well, my spiritual father, who I call Papa, has a ranch, and I won't say where, but it's between me, where I live, and the border. And the border is probably about 3 hours away, depending on how you, it's a
I
direct
got
line.
I got what you mean.
No, but I'm telling them it's a direct line from, if you drew it on a map, it's about an hour and a half away. But with all the travel, it's closer to 2 to 3 hours away, some areas. But we have illegals on that ranch all the time. He had a house and that was over 100 and something years old. It was great. He had barns and equipment sheds and stuff that surprisingly just burned down. And he had redid the entire house, remodeled, refurbished it for years. My son, all summer long, every summer would go out there. One day it burnt to the ground. And they said it could have been a lightning strike, but the thing was, the weather wasn't there for that. But anyway, they are very disruptive to property and ranches. They cut the fences all the time. They unalive the animals to eat. If there is a deer lease on a lot of these ranches, which they are, a lot of ranches sublease the deer during hunting season as a part of their ranch as a hunting lease in Texas, and they go and stay in these sheds, hunting sheds and stuff. So it's very awful. It's awful. Well, anyway, with this trial with George Kelly, his home literally was on the border, and every day he had illegals crossing all the time. And he had a gully, which is maybe like a dried up little river or creek bed. And it's probably about 5 to 6 feet in deep at least. And there was a body that was found. He found, well, first of all, his wife saw some illegals with guns. He ran outside through a window in the house. He ran outside and he took his weapon and he shot it up in the air to scare them off. Now, is that the smartest thing to do? To shoot something up in the air? But they're running this way. If they're running to his left and he aims to the right, it's going to go up to the right and down to the right. But he shot several rounds up in the air to scare them off. Hours later, he goes outside and his dog finds a body. He is charged with unaliving this person. But let's talk about that person. That person had been entering the U.S. off and on and been sent back and been going in and out for years. What does that mean to you, Carmen? Somebody who comes in and out, in and out, in and out.
It's been cutting in and out, so honestly, I didn't hear a word you just said.
What do you, when you have an illegal person that is entering the United States 10 to 12 times over the years,
Oh,
what do you think?
become
And that
illegal.
they're admitting to and got caught.
You're a mule.
Exactly. Well, this guy had a fanny pack and a backpack. He had a radio. What a radio. I mean, and binoculars. What does that mean?
You're a spotter and you're doing a mule.
He's a mule and he's a spotter. But he had photos on his phone that showed him in that condition. Unfortunately, now the backpack, when they found the body, was pulled up over his head. The fanny pack had been rifled through. No radio, no binoculars. There may have been radio, but no binoculars. When someone passes, is shot, and they fall down, that backpack strap is not going to be pulled so tight underneath and up over his head unless somebody is dragging or rifling through it for something. And mules also not only carry illegals across, but they carry illegal things across.
Yeah.
And he was shot from the lower rib and it came out up. So it was this direction. And if George Kelly had have shot his weapon, it would have been in a downward projection. Even if he's bent over, it
So
could not get that projection. Well, throughout the trial, his wife got on that stand and testified. And girl, I know what it's like. I've done that. And I was like, she was bravo. And he did not testify. But the only witness to this was brought in from Mexico for the trial. Now, let's talk about that. He said when he had cleared the border and was on the ranch heading north, and this unaliving happened, everybody scattered. He went back to Mexico. Now, doing what you do and know what you know, do you think it's reasonable to believe anybody who successfully gets across the border is going to run right back over across that border?
The last place they go is Mexico.
If you can get across clearly, you may run east, you run west, but you are going to run and it ain't going to be back.
And even if they do something really heinous, the last place that they go is Mexico.
Mexico.
They may go to, Port-au-Prince, Port-au-Paix with Haiti or something like that.
But they ain't going back to Mexico.
But they are not going back to Mexico because that's the first place that we're looking for them. And we pay the Mexican government a lot of money for certain people. And that's the very last place they're going.
Now, when the investigation started, the sheriff, I call him a Hollywood sheriff, decided he's so well known in Mexico that he comfortably crosses that border almost every other day. Goes shopping. They know him by name across the border. They give him free stuff in the markets across the border. So what do you think that means? He went across the border to interview the witness without telling anybody.
Of course.
He interviewed them in a cantina bar hotel in public, then went to a private room or area and interviewed the person, but not only the person, but the family members and other people were all there and recorded none of it. And then in the last few minutes, he recorded it.
Shady, shady, shady.
Shady as hell. And this old man lost his entire savings fighting for his life. And one of the things that were brought up in the trial that got my attention was when they said the guy that testified against the defendant in Spanish and they translated it in English, testified that at one point he was in the gully and the victim was out. So they were coming out of the gully, coming up. Dude, you don't do that.
That's not
If
how
you
that
have a
works.
gully that goes from the southern eastern and
Yeah.
snakes around to the middle northwestern part of the property, you're going to stay in the gully.
Yeah.
You're not going to get out and run in open territory.
No, it's
So,
and
but
then you go boop over here, but you got to go. But-
Yeah.
No.
yeah, but and even George Kelly and his wife said the property fences have been cut down so much they sent almost $60,000 in 1 year in repairs of their property and damage to their barns and stuff. But the gully was so full of trash, needles, condoms, clothing, old food, water bottles. And he said that they were carrying multiple gallons of water each. No one found those in the investigation.
Of course I didn't.
And they said that the guy died there because a tree limb had been bent and broken. Do you know how many cows and horses rub against tree limbs and break them to scratch? I'm all like,
Oh, I mean, like even just on growing up on my parents' farm, with how many they would break. And they can snap off some big ass branches too.
Yeah.
But would it be enough to unalive a human? No.
no, but they're saying that he was there where the body was because a branch right there had been broken. And I'm all like, bitch,
That
please.
doesn't Okay,
then-
did they understand the power of what a cow can? Oh my!
Have you even
goodness.
seen a horse rubbing his butt on a tree and the tree breaks in half?
I was gonna say they can snap a tree just rubbing their gluteus
Backside.
maximus on it.
Yeah. Well, and then, so what I believe happened is that when you have two mules and they get across and both of them are carrying drugs, they both get to where they need to meet up. They split the money because they both carried. And if you're greedy, you're going to kill the other person, take what they're carrying and go and deliver it and said he didn't make it and get all that money.
I mean, who's gonna say any different?
That's right. I don't know. He disappeared. We ran into trouble. The other thing is, hold on.
Thank you, Debbie. My mom will really appreciate that. I appreciate it. What's up, Papa? If
So
anybody asks-
anyway,
Sorry,
huh?
go ahead. No, I was saying thank you to Debbie. She said that she subbed to my mom's channel.
Yes, thank you, Debbie. That's awesome. We encourage you to do so. Throw up your mom's channel for me. So anyway, then here's the other hitch of this story.
Gotta ask Gabby. I don't know how to do
The police will just type her link or copy her link and put it. Somebody find the link for me.
that. I know. Everybody's like, Carmen, why don't you?
Oh, Gabby needs you to deal with Gabby. So here's something else. Listen while I tell you this. The other thing that got me is so all the people start showing up, right? All the sheriff, border patrol, everybody shows up, right? And George calls border patrol and the sheriff's department. Okay, he calls them. He called border patrol because he was taught all the years he lived there, if it's a border patrol, an illegal person, dead or alive, you call border patrol first, then they call sheriff. That's what he did. And then his wife is in the house and they go knock on the door. It's starting to get dark. And he's standing there and told his wife to turn on the lights outside. So
Ooh,
there's
why?
one switch by the front door because it's dark. It's a ranch. There's no lights.
I get
And
it.
then she went outside. She had to go across the house to turn on the lights on the back side of the house so they could have light to see. Because George Kelly not only called, but he hung a flashlight on the tree where the unalive person was so they could find him. Okay, this man is helping. Okay, what if he shot him where he lives? He could just roll him in the gully, and no one would ever know.
I was gonna say
But-
the guy's gonna.
And
get
they
him.
and they have feral hog. You guys want to get rid of a body? Put them
Give
where
'em to
there's
the hogs.
hogs.
Give them to the hogs. They eat
Eat
everything.
everything. And then they scatter it everywhere. Uh,
Just so you know, that's a disclaimer that is not giving advice to how to
Guys,
unalive
no.
anybody.
no. But what I'm saying is, if he was truly guilty, that would be his mindset. So his wife is at the front door. A female officer and other officers were at the door. They did not ask permission to come in.
So,
So the
they're saying,
door-
hold on. So they're saying this was the Mexican cartel?
George and the defense is saying that this was a Mexican cartel coming across, moving people and drugs across his ranch, and that the Mexican cartel, one of the coyotes or the mules, killed the other guy. And but the state is saying it was Kelly because he shot his gun up in the air, okay, to scare him off. And one of the stray bullets killed him, even though the entrance wound was under the rib, under rib, and came out front collar. Yeah, bullcrap. Didn't even go through the backpack. Didn't even go, it went to like if you're standing in front of me and here's a backpack and this strap wraps around, it was here. And this is the backpack. This is the back. This is the stomach. It was here in the ribs and came up and out up here. No freaking way. Not bending over.
Ugh, yucks. But they're still saying that this was the Mexican cartel?
Uh-huh.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, but anyway, keep listening. So the wife is standing at the door. They're police officers or sheriffs or agents. I'll just say agents outside. And her husband's standing there. And he says, honey, turn on the front porch. She turned it on. He goes, I need you to turn on the other one. And they say, well, ma'am, we need you to come with us. We need to talk to you. And she goes, well, can I get my purse and keys? And she turned to go turn the light on and grab her keys and purse or whatever. And they walked in without asking either one of them for permission. Didn't have a warrant, nothing. The woman that walked through the house with her was eyeballing the house, looking for the AR that Mr. Kelly had, and he confessed to shooting up in the air without.
Oh, Lord.
And they walked through the house with her.
Oh, my God.
And they take her and put her in a car, and they keep her until like wee hours of the morning without a warrant, and they never read her rights while on scene.
I keep trying to take these off because I want to look at you, but it's not.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm not that good looking.
I feel rude when.
No, you're not. Don't worry about it. When I have migraine, do you want me to put mine on?
Yeah, kind of to make me feel a little better.
Where are my glasses?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in law enforcement, do not walk into a house without a warrant. And I will 110% say that with legal advice, and I will even put my personal email up there if I have to. Do not walk into a house without a warrant. I don't care what anybody says. If you do not
if you say,
have
may
that
I come
copy,
in? And I say, yes, you may
that's
come in.
different. That's
But they
different.
didn't do that. They just
That's what I'm
walked in with
saying.
her.
No. So there's only one certain type of thing that we can do. It's called a no knock or a silent knock. And we have to have extreme circumstances to do that. So a no knock and a silent knock are basically the exact same thing. It's where we go real quiet, or we just don't even knock at all.
Or you go, police.
Oh, yep, we go.
Police.
We don't even knock. We just police. And that's it. That's all we do.
But this is like if you hear something going off inside and screaming and you know that there's something.
If that, we're kicking down your door.
Yeah.
If we hear that, but if we come up to you and we're just like, police. No.
You in
That's
trouble.
a no knock, and you're in trouble. And you are in some real
deep doo-doo.
And a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to get a judge to sign off on a no knock. and it's next to impossible. I could be like, hey, this person over here, unalive them. I have absolutely no idea who they are. They might be the Mexican cartel, but they're from Minnesota, and they have no criminal history whatsoever. Can I serve a warrant? And they're like, yeah. Can I do a no knock? Nope.
Nope. Yep. So the thing, I wish my glasses are all in my car. I usually
Hey.
have glasses in here because I get migraines easily. But anyway, there was so many things wrong with this case. He was eventually found, he was a hung jury, and they finally decided not to retry him with prejudice.
I was gonna say.
So that was that case.
Our good old justice system. Don't you love it?
Yep.
We don't ever do anything wrong.
Oh man, I was really rocking braids this day. Let me see if I can get this up just for the hell of it. I want you to see my native. So the other
Oh,
thing is,
we're about to get
Huh.
into the native thing with Cheyenne. She has a native.
what do you mean?
She has a tribal thing next week
What tribal thing?
with her tribe. Don't ask me what it's called because I've been dating this girl for almost 3 years
Wait,
now.
wait, wait,
Please
wait, wait, wait. She's in Livingston, right? That's
Yeah,
either
but she's
going to be that's either going to be that's going to be either Kashada, the Kashada.
She moved. You gotta remember she moved.
Where what tribal thing you talking about?
Her like her actual tribe.
Oh, are they having a powwow? Look at my braids.
Having a powwow.
Where's the powwow? I want to go, but I can't. It's my father's 90th birthday.
You want to know how much it throws me off when I hear this girl just. I'm like, what the heck is that noise? And I wake up. It's blow darts. She's practicing with blow darts.
Oh, I like her already. I gotta
And I'm
meet.
like-
I gotta meet him.
But yeah, they have a little powwow.
Well,
It's-
you know, I have my regalia. I'm itching to get in it, but it's wool, so I won't. I don't want to get in it till it's winter time.
So they told me I can quote unquote join their tribe. But I gotta get it. That's what I was kind of weird about.
Well, here's the
But
thing.
I have to take like an honor, and I have to get a tribal tattoo. And
No, I
some
need to know what group you are. I've never heard of that.
That's what I said, because I do have Native Americans in my family, and
But you have.
yeah,
We'll talk later. We'll talk later.
yeah. So
Um,
it's they seem to be drifting from their original,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
It does. The next trial was the Karen Reed trial. Y'all, we know all about that trial.
That's Zach's baby mama.
Huh?
Yep, I said it.
Zach's baby mama?
Yeah, times 12.
Well, I'm Cree Cherokee. Creek and Cherokee. God. And then the next one is the Karen Swift murder trial.
Also Zach's baby mama.
I'm trying to remember this one. Why do not remember this one?
Oh,
Why do I
Zachary,
not?
Papa, can I do the 12 Christmases of Zach's baby mamas? Trial
Yes.
version.
I got to look at the. Oh, this is the guy who reportedly unalived his wife. Another hung trial. We had a lot of hung trials at the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
You can be honorary. Yes, you can. But usually you have to be married.
Yeah, that was the other thing. And I'm not saying I'm bad at commitment because that sounds really bad, but I'm not going to do something and get it tattooed or branded or anything like that just for the crap of it.
Yeah.
No.
So the Karen Swift murder trial, the guy basically was charged with unaliving her in her vehicle, but there was no witnesses. It ended up in a hung trial. that was kind of a sleeper trial.
Okay,
But the
so
next big one,
I've never actually watched a single thing with the Karen Reed trial. Ever. Not one time. I have been told I need to go watch it.
well, darling, I thought about going on Discord at night and replaying it.
I can meet you there.
I'll meet you there. We'll start it tomorrow. Well, wait, I can't. We'll start it next week because my papa's birthday's coming is on the 28th and we're going to be in Dallas.
So,
So I'm leaving tomorrow.
I just got my year schedule. As long as it does, there'll be some changes in it, but for the most part, it should be roughly where it should be because I have to do a lot of training this year.
So are you going to be free in the evenings?
No. I'll be free in the mornings.
Oh, well, that'll be great.
When I get off work, but
Okay.
so I'll still work from 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then I have those really odd days that I gotta go in there, and then when she hits the fan, I gotta go.
Yep.
in.
Okay, guys, it is 3:00. I've got to get a bunch of stuff before we go. I got to make floral arrangements for 16 tables. I got to go buy a pair of pants. So
What?
I'm going to sign
16
off. Huh?
That's right. 16 tables? Are we doing 16 candles?
Oh, no.
Have you seen that movie?
Yes, too many times as a kid.
That's a good
That was my
movie.
generation. Are you kidding?
That's a good movie.
It is. So anyway,
So,
we're going to pick up with the year in review tomorrow. No, we won't. No, we won't when I come back, when I get back on Monday. So love you guys. Have a great evening. Carmen, thank you as always.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for yes, ma'am. And I do want to apologize. I have not been on Discord at all, and it wasn't until today that I saw that. Like I had I think 96 unread messages on Discord.
That's okay.
I was like,
Hey, it's the
I'm so
holidays.
sorry.
Everybody does what they're going to do. But
So,
Carmen,
I was gonna say to you, chat, if nobody's doing anything, I can hop back on live and we can just
yeah,
talk.
go join her. Go join her. Go join her. I'll join you. I'll be listening.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, definitely. I'm gonna hop on my mom's because I just use
Okay.
hers.
All right. We'll see you over there. Bye,
All right.
everybody. Love and
See you guys.
blessings. Thank you all so much. We'll see you soon. Bye. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.